the pace truck will duck off of the speedway. Troy Wagaman Jr. alongside of him with wins this season. A 3-time winner this year. And right now it is the calm before the storm. In just moments it is going to be thunder and lightning here at Selinsgrove Speedway. The green flag is out and the 410 sprint car feature is underway. Justin Whittle will grab the early race lead off turn number 2 and take the field down the backstretch. Troy Wagaman Jr. keeps him in his sights as they come around. Whittle is up high. Wagaman down low to complete lap number 1. They're side by side at the line. Troy Wagaman Jr. on the inside, edging out Whittle, but he comes back across the racetrack. Right now it's Troy Wagaman Jr. setting the pace. Justin Whittle sticks with him off the 4th turn. We got 2 laps down. Field single file, and we got a move taking place down there on the high side of 3 and 4. 55 of Logan Wagner was trying to make a move down there on the top side of 3 and 4. He's currently racing 4th. Wagner on the inside of Lucas Wolf, putting in a bid for that 3rd spot. The race is for 3rd, 4 laps down. Troy Wagaman Jr. points him out of turn number 4. 5 laps down, 20 to go. Race for 3rd continues. Logan Wagner on the bottom of the racetrack. Lucas Wolf sticks with him down the backstretch. Justin Whittle in that runner-up spot. Looks like Lance DeWeese has a tire go down, shredding a tire, and he's going to roll to a stop in turn number 2. Caution is out for Lance DeWeese. Troy Wagaman Jr. will bring him around and back to the flag to get this one back underway. Green is out. Field accelerates down the front stretch. Freddie Raymer tried to make a move underneath Logan Wagner there in turns 1 and 2. Wagner will hold on to 3rd. Whittle 2nd. Troy Wagaman Jr. setting the pace. Wagner up high off turn number 4. And Logan Wagner powers into the runner-up spot. He gets by Justin Whittle off the 4th turn. Wagner got a run by Whittle off turn number 4. He's up to 2nd. Troy Wagaman Jr. out in front. Stretching his lead here on the restart. It'll be 9 laps to go on Troy Wagaman Jr. 9 to go. Lucas Wolf holding down 5th. Freddie Raymer gets alongside Justin Whittle in a race for 3rd. It'll be 8 down this time around. Troy Wagaman Jr. stretching his lead again. 3/4 of a straightaway. Wagaman over Wagner with 8 to go. Justin Whittle racing a solid 3rd. Freddie Raymer 4th. Lucas Wolf 5th. Here come the leaders down the front stretch. 7 laps to go on the 27 of Troy Wagaman Jr. Wagaman is dialed in here tonight for this main event, looking for his first career 410 sprint car win here at Selinsgrove Speedway. Off turn number 4, the white flag falls. One more time around for Troy Wagaman Jr. In the Heffner Racing Enterprises, Lelands.com, Blazers Body Shop number 27, down the backstretch one more time. He sets it into turn number 3. Final lap, final corner. The checkered flag is in sight now, and the win will go to Troy Wagaman Jr. tonight here at Selinsgrove Speedway over the 55 of Logan Wagner.
And he is going up top. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear for Troy Wagaman Jr.
AJ Flick, Casey Weaver, Tyler Esch, Ryan Newton, Davey Frannick, Brandon Raymer, Dominic Blair, Mark Smith, Aiden Porter, and Matt Tebbs. Making up your field. Yellow lights go out. We will go green in turn number 4 as we are set to fly for Fly and Fill here at the Clinton County Speedway. Cameron Smith takes us down into 1 and 2. Thompson down low, and it's the 69 that leads us off of turn 2. Cameron Smith leads the field into 3 and 4. Drivers 1 back to the field. They're trying to make a move. Ryan Smith breaks into the top 5. Brett Strickler in that 3rd spot. He's going to duck to the inside of Mike Thompson for 2nd momentarily. Unable to make the pass. Ryan Smith looked underneath Freddie Raymer. Unable to make a move as well as Raymer now to the inside for 3rd. Tyler Ross in 6th. They're 3 wide on a turn number 4 for 17th and 9th. Big move between Strickler and Raymer as they trade blows for the 3rd spot. Keep an eye on the 67 of Justin Whittle. He was in 7th. He's looking to the outside here using the top lane through 3 and 4. Cameron Smith leads the 3rd lap. He flips the start. We have spin in turn 2 as Mikey Thompson running 2nd goes around the ring. So the green flag away. Cameron Smith powers it off of 4. Strickler in 2nd. Freddie Raymer, he's down low looking for the 2nd spot as Ryan Smith launches on. Up front, Freddie Raymer passes Strickler for the 2nd spot as they battle on. Justin Whittle on the outside of Ryan Smith looking for 4th. He'll go back up high in 3 and 4. Looking to make a move is JW, and he'll do just that. Whittle using the high side of the speedway into that 4th spot. He's the only driver committed. Kelly Dietrich looks at what he's doing. He moves up from back in the pack. Cameron Cameron Smith out in front, comfortable right now, has a second plus advantage. Battle for the third spot, Justin Whittle down low. Freddie Raymer closes the door, but Whittle doesn't lose any ground off of turn 2.
Watch the battle for third and fourth. Raymer down low. Whittle coming into the high side once again. Using that momentum at turn number 4 by the flight. Raymer holds on to that third spot, but just by a nose.
As we got cars around the ring in turns 3 and 4, Mikey Thompson involved, Brandon Raymer and Casey Weaver. The 69 will set the pace as we come back to green. Cameron Smith leads us down into 1 and 2. 3 wide for the third spot. Ryan Smith down in the mix, side by side. Freddie Raymer down low, Justin Whittle up high. Justin Whittle powering off the top side. Freddie Raymer looking to battle for second with Brett Strickler. Freddie Raymer way down low. Justin Whittle way up at the top deck. Justin Whittle takes the third spot away from Raymer down the back straightaway. Raymer trying to hug that inside Jersey barrier. Justin Whittle up into third, now down to the inside of Strickler. Slides up alongside the 38. They're side by side for the second spot. Justin Whittle, he's got the runner-up position here into turns 3 and 4, but a caution will come out before it goes official. The 17B is Stevie Buckwalters backwards in turns 1 and 2. That'll drop the 67 back to third. Leads the field. Comes back to speed, and we're back underway.
Cameron Smith leads the field in turn 1 and 2. Justin Whittle looking to the outside. He'll make a kick for that second spot, but he'll win the win in turn 3 and 4.
Strickler down low, gets a good run through the third and fourth quarter. It's not going to be enough to hold off Justin Whittle. Whittle now up into the runner-up spot. Now, can he reel in the 69 of Cameron Smith, who's already built up to a second advantage? Lead is open for Justin Whittle. Cameron Smith bobbles. There goes Justin Whittle for the lead.
Whittle makes the pass forward by traffic. Now watch Whittle as he tries to navigate through that traffic. We'll try to hold it. Whittle bobbles here in this left traffic right into the leader.
Freddie Raymer got the third spot at the line as he battles with Brett Strickler. Strickler tried to slide him in 1 and 2, but nothing doing. As the front of your field into lap traffic, Stevie Buckwalter with issues. He's going to pull down into the infield. And right now we stay green.
Great sportsmanship by Buckwalter by allowing him to stay green. Pulls in the infield. We've got all sorts of traffic in there. Battling for position halfway this time by.
Looks like Freddie Raymer broke there on the back straightaway. He's out from under power, and the yellow flag waves. This time, brings him down the front straightaway. Smith right to his inside in 1 and 2, hanging right with them. Ryan Smith watches on in third, battle for the fourth spot between Tyler Ross and Brett Strickler, making a 4-car battle for the second spot. Come off of turn number 4. Ryan Smith, he's officially in third. Tyler Ross still battles for that 4th spot. He's battling with JT Ferry. That is just outside the top 5. He's running in 7th. JT Ferry in the lap cars way up high in 1 and 2. Lost a lot of ground there. Cameron Smith reeled him in a bit as we're going to come to 5 laps to go. This time here comes Ryan Smith for the runner-up spot.
Ryan Smith looks to the side. Left traffic. Cameron Smith. Ryan Smith moves to the second.
The defending Phil Walter Classic champion up to second, but has to get around some of these lap cars to reel in the 67 of Justin Whittle. Caution flag comes out as we've got cars together in turn 2. It's the 8 of Lance DeWeese and the 35 of Buddy Schweibens collected on the bottom side of turn 2. The cause in turns 3 and 4. Justin Whittle back up to pace, back underway. Where does Smith go? Where does Whittle go? Right through the middle in 1 and 2. Cameron Smith peeks to his inside, keeping Ryan Smith within his grasp. Justin Whittle trying to run away. Here comes Tyler Ross for the 3rd spot.
Tyler Ross looks to the inside, trying to make a hit on that third spot. Smith, and Ross battle for second, third, and fourth. Here comes Cameron Smith alongside Ryan Smith. Out of turn number 4. We'll see the white flag. 1 more lap to go for the New Jersey Native.
Started outside of row number 4, charged his way to the front. As he heads into turns 3 and 4, he will see the checkered flag, and he will win the 5th Phil Walter Classic here at the Clinton County Speedway. Ryan Smith finishes in 2nd, and Cameron Smith round out your top 3.
Monday, August 17th, 2026. What's going on? I am Jimmy here with Jay-Z. We are the Turn 2 Terribles. Thanks, everybody, so much for joining us tonight. We got a great show planned for you. Special guest tonight, Mike Heffner, owner of the Heffner Enterprises, number 27, will join us here momentarily. Very excited to have him on to talk about just his journey, being a car owner and everything. And we'll also probably talk a little bit about Troy's win at Selinsgrove on Friday. We'll also recap a little bit later Selinsgrove, Clinton County, as you just saw, some two pretty good races during kind of an off week here locally. And as the Knoxville Nationals were going on, we'll talk about that as well. And we'll preview the weekend ahead, racing at Williamsgrove, Port Royal, and Outlaws and High Limit get back on track. Thanks, everybody, so much for tuning in live tonight. We see you guys in the chat. Dave, James, D Packer 07, Mandy, Santos, Brandon Gibson, Marie, Troy Savage. Yeah, thank you guys all so much for tuning in. If you guys have questions for Mike, make sure you guys are putting them in the chat. We'll try to get to as many as we can when we bring him on here in a little in just a minute. We want to hear your hot takes and your opinions as well on everything that happened this past weekend. So thanks again for joining us. We got to also thank really quickly our sponsor, KARCHNER Warehousing Logistics. Thank them for supporting the show. Give them, if you need any warehousing or logistical needs, make sure you reach out to KARCHNER Logistics. Jay-Z, man, how are you doing tonight?
Man, I'm good. I'm excited for this one tonight. It's been a while since we've had a guest, and I really should have wrote my thoughts down because I have so many questions, but I don't even know where to start. So we're going to wing it as usual. But hey, like, subscribe, share the show, guys. We really appreciate the support, and we want to keep this thing going and growing. So these guests that we have on, whenever we have them on, deserve to have a great audience. So make sure your racing friends know that we exist, and get to keep getting exposure for these guests, and especially I guess like tonight, invest so much in the sport that we love.
Absolutely.
Like crazy amount. So tonight's the night. If you're ever going to share it out or tell someone, this is the night. So we appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you guys again. Let's not delay it any further. Let's bring in tonight's guest, Mike Heffner. Mike, thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you?
Oh, good. Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Welcome in. So I have a lot, like I just said there. I don't know if you were listening, but I have so many questions, and these are questions I've had for a long time, and I guess I could ask my good buddy Troy most of these, but this works. I'm glad I have it because I actually do my best when I don't actually know the info. So I always feel like I learn with the fans. So, and there's going to be things you might answer that people do know. But first of all, this background. Okay, I know this is I do know this part. There, what is going on behind you here?
Well, I got two kids. One's 1 and one's 3 upstairs. So I had to hide in one of my memorabilia rooms in order to do this, because I had to sneak down here. So this is in my basement, and just some of my personal collection that I have. A lot of bats and stuff in this room, but it's one of my safe places from the kids. But the kids even get in here once in a while, and they start picking up the bats and the memorabilia, and they don't really get it. Of course, they're only 1 and 3, so how could they get it? But it's still it's still fun. I've learned not to cry too much over spilled milk anymore, because we got a lot of spilled milk in this house.
I can relate more than you know. So with this is your personal collection of memorabilia, but I also know a little bit about this is also associated with one of your businesses, one of the many. So what is that business, and how does it work, and where does it stand today?
Well, actually, I don't know if many people know this. It was kept kind of quiet, but I actually sold Lelands.com, which was the auction portion of the business. And
Okay.
that was a few years ago. I still help them out. I'm still involved, only a little bit, as much as I want to be, kind of. Sold to a friend of mine, Steve Berkman. He now owns it. He runs it. He has another auction house called Clean Sweep also that he runs. But with the kids and everything, it was just too much for me, and I decided, my longtime friend and business partner, Josh Evans, he passed away a few years ago, and I ran the business by myself for a few years. It wasn't as much fun, and I decided, it's time to pass it along to somebody else. So I still have a company called Leland's Collectibles Inc., which I sell stuff privately through. Don't do auctions, but Lelands.com, and you'll see that on the car. It's now Leland's Collectibles Inc. It's not Lelands.com, but anybody looking to sell or auction their memorabilia, Lelands.com auctions is a great place to go.
Well, and it's probably good you sold it, because it looks like you were collecting more of it than you were getting rid of at some
Oh
point
my
here.
God. Yeah. It's I'm my wife yells at me all the time. I'm just a hoarder, and we've outgrown. I've been in this house for 30 years now, and it's literally, I'm not joking. You open up the kitchen cabinets and there's memorabilia in them. And living here with a wife and 2 children, it doesn't work so well. Rachel is on me constantly. The minute I bring up something that she has laying around, she's like, well, you have 20 things that I can bring up that you have laying around. So yeah, it's a passion, but it's also a sort of an addiction too.
So, with that being said, are you still actively looking for certain things you don't have, or is it sort of you're in this world? So, when something comes across your plate that's interesting, I don't have that yet. Is that how that works, or is
Yeah,
there some sort of holy grail you're searching for?
there's nothing in particular that I really love. I just did a book on pinback buttons. I love old buttons, so any buttons that I find that are old and Ty Cobb, Shoeless Joe Jackson, stuff like that, I still buy. I just bought one in auction over the weekend. I collect professional wrestling stuff. That's my passion, and I'm actually going to be opening a museum shortly. It'll be a private museum at first, but then it may become public at some point with all professional wrestling stuff. So that's the stuff I really look for and really enjoy now, more so than the baseball stuff even. So yeah, I'm still collecting, just not buying as much. I sell some baseball stuff that I have duplicates on in order to afford the racing. Instead of taking money right out of the personal account or the family account for the racing, I sell some memorabilia. That's how I've kind of done it over the years. How I've been able to survive in the racing business is because it is very expensive, and I would feel incredibly guilty if I was taking all that money out of, the family fund or my personal banking account or the banking account that we pay all our expenses for. So every time I need money, a new motor, a new car, a new something, I usually take something that I don't care about or I got a lot of enjoyment out of, and I sell it. And that'll buy me another Triple X chassis or another rider motor sometimes if it's a big enough item, or maybe I have to sell 20 things, but it's okay because I have thousands of things, and picking out a few to sell is not a problem as long as I can keep racing.
So, yeah, and we'll kind of get into this racing part a little bit. We're almost we won't take long to get there because that's really what I want to get into. But you're also involved in, well, actually, I don't know. So with the collectible sort of kind of business thing going, what else are you involved in? Because I know you're involved in a lot of racing stuff too, not just a car owner, but obviously a racetrack. What other business ventures are you currently working with
It's really
that we
that's
could
about
know
the
about?
Yeah, that's really the only thing. I have my memorabilia going on. I deal a lot in also vintage photography, buy and sell some of that. It's basically revolves around collectibles and antiques and the sort. Have a racing collection like that. That's not a business sale, but that's just a collection. And it's come a time. I'm 57 now, and I'm just trying to sort of give back to the community, not only the racing community, but the town that I live in, the community. So I'm doing some stuff with the historical society, and believe me, my time is very much taken up just by the kids. So I really I'm trying to divest the things that I've been into the last several decades and just concentrate on the kids. But I'm still really enjoy the racing, and as long as I enjoy it, I'll keep doing it.
Yeah, can relate to that as well. Good grief, in a way smaller level, but enjoying it is really what it's about. So, let's get into the racing a little bit. Your involvement with Lincoln Speedway. How did that come about? And like, is that something you always kind of wanted to do? Is it sort of fell in your lap? And what is your kind of role in that group that kind of runs Lincoln Speedway?
Well, I was involved in Selinsgrove for 7 years, and that was a lot of fun. Sort of just got involved up there because I didn't know a whole lot. I had promoted some races down at Bridgeport, and I forget if I did any others. I think I promoted a few down at Bridgeport, and I really enjoyed doing it. And then when Selinsgrove became available after Charlie Page had it, we got together with a group of guys and we took it over, and didn't make much money up there, but had a blast. I mean, the people I worked with up there, Steve Inch and Todd Benner and Brian Scandal, and those are just a few of the guys. There are many other people, but had a blast up there doing it. It's just we were sort of treading water, and had I lived a little bit closer or had we owned the track, it probably would have ended up different. I would have stuck around up there, but, we decided we all were going to go different ways. And, I enjoyed that time so much, though. Spent time with those guys in that facility. And I love that facility from when I was a kid going up there in the 80s. And then after that, I learned that Lincoln was going to be for sale. And, talked to Alan Chrysler, who's a really good friend, and he had mentioned that Scott Gobrick and Jerry Parrish were also interested in it. So I got involved there. So now it's a three-way partnership between us. Get along great with Jerry and Scott. They're doing a fantastic job. And I got to tell you, I don't do much of the work, and I feel guilty. I try to get there every race night and sort of help out with things. Don't get involved with the officiating, but yet try to make sure that the show goes on smoothly. I don't want to be involved with the officiating because my car's there. If my car's not there, I'm okay, being involved in the officiating. But, I contribute on race nights. I try to take care of any problems, try to, walk around, look for things that, that we could be doing less of and more of, and just try to make sure everybody is that we're running an efficient show. But Scott and Jerry are really the guys that really put a lot of work into that place, and good friends with both of them, and it's been a great relationship so far.
Now, speaking of your car, so let's get into the car stuff a little bit. That's probably what I would say most people watching or listening tomorrow are wondering about. So, how did you get into this ownership thing, or were you like? Give me your background in racing. Were you a fan? Was it family? Did you race? How did all that come about?
Yeah, I'm too much of a pansy to race. I don't have that. So I never could race. Like I got in a car a couple times, like a speedster and stuff. And one time, just a real quick funny story. I got in, when we had Selinsgrove, there were some speedsters up there practicing, and I got in one of the cars that took it around. I thought, holy cow, I'm going fast. And I come in, and Richie Tobias goes, every time somebody wants to drive a race car, it doesn't drive a race car. Why don't they drive it fast? You were going like 20 miles an hour. I was like, well, it sure felt like I was going fast. So no, I could never do it. I don't have, I'm 57. I'm not going to start now, but I don't have the coordination or the, I just couldn't do it. Maybe if I started when I was a kid, but I never did it. But I was a fan when I was a kid. My dad used to take me to Grandview, which was close. And then it went from Grandview. We started going to sprint car races. Actually, there used to be sprint car races at Grandview every Sunday, or a couple times a month. URC would come to Grandview on a Sunday night with the midgets. We started to go to those. Then we went out to Williamsgrove, then Selinsgrove. And, I'm pretty far removed from central Pennsylvania. I'm over near the New Jersey line. So, but we just started to fall in love with the sprint cars. That was the whole Keith Kaufman, Doug Wolfgang era, mid 80s, late 80s. And then I grew, I went to college and sort of stepped away from it a little bit, and then started going back a little bit in the early 2000s. Then had a relative through, not a blood relative, but a relative who used to own a car and used to work with Scats and Fuso back in the day. And I always said to him, we're going to get a sprint car, It was a standing joke for like 10 years. And then finally in 2008, I said, we're getting a sprint car. And we went and bought a sprint car, and we bought a trailer, and we bought some spare parts, and hired Ryan Smith to drive it. And then it was off to the races. It's like, once you get involved in this, you can't just do it for a year or two, unless you run out of money. Maybe it was unfortunate that I didn't run out of money because I spent so much over the last 20 years. Maybe it would have been good if I ran out of money during the first 2 years, but it just got into my blood, and I can't explain it. I don't know. I don't know if I can explain it to anyone. It's impossible for me to watch. I can watch a race. I can't attend a race when the car's not racing. It's just not. Like, the adrenaline doesn't flow like it does when I see the car on the track. People say, well, you just own it. You're just watching it. But there's something about it that just, I get so worked up about it. And my heart starts pounding when we're leading, and it's like, I'm shaking. It's just, I don't know. It's just a rush for me. And then when we do poorly, I'm pounding the wall. And you can ask the guys. I put some mighty dents in their trailer when I used to go to all the races. So it goes the other way too. It's such highs and such lows. But that's what I like about it. It evokes my emotion, and it gets me. I feel alive when I see that race car out there on the track. So that's the reason I
no,
stuck
and
with it.
you're a fan like we are. We all have our favorite drivers, and we feel the same way. When our favorite driver's leading,
Yes.
we certainly don't have the same investment, but the emotional investment has very similar. I mean, been in that situation many times going, oh man, there's no way this can't happen. Like something's gonna go wrong.
Yeah.
Now Jimmy's a Brock Zierfos fan, so it usually does go wrong. So it usually does
Yes,
break.
poor Brock.
So
Yes.
For year after year, terrible
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah.
So like part of that emotional high and low, obviously, we can't really skip over it. With the loss of Greg, was there a time where, with that emotional burden, good and bad, was there a point where you thought during that situation where, hey, I don't know if I want to do this anymore? Did that passion ever, even for a
Yeah.
short time, leave?
Yeah. Yeah, I still get angry. Yeah, it was I was very angry at the sport, after the tragedy with Greg. I was really angry, and I thought, why did this happen? Why did this sport take, someone who I truly cared about and loved, a friend, and so it was tough to come back and to try to love the sport again, because I did hate it at that point. And people, I was listening to people, friends, relatives saying, you do what you want to do, take some time, and it did take me some time. And then I thought, I never want to, I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't know. I don't want to sound like, I was hearing anything, but, there were signs, from above that I should continue to race. And I sort of listened to those. I did believe in, a God, and, I looked to him, and I also heard there were signs, I believe, that I want to think that Greg probably would have wanted us to continue racing too, because he cared so much and loved this sport. And, so that's what motivated me to continue on.
So when you get back going again, and I'm a follower, but there's timelines and there's things that I may
Mhm.
not get right. So when Car comes back, we get Ryan back in the car. Is that correct? Do I have that right?
Ryan came back into the car. Yep, Ryan, because he was close, and I knew him from before, and Ryan never burned a bridge, which some drivers are really good at keeping relationships, and some others are really bad at it. So, but any drivers out there listening, I would recommend never burning a bridge, because you never know what's going to come back around. And owners shouldn't do that either. Owners should not burn bridges.
And that's hard. That's
you
hard
know,
with that emotion you talked about, right?
It is. It's
Egos and
really hard.
emotion. It's
So
difficult.
yeah, Ryan came back, and it was really tough. Ryan probably got the short end of the deal, because I had such high expectations after Greg. We had some seasons there where we had 20 plus wins, and we're finishing top 10 at Knoxville Nationals, and winning down in Florida. And Ryan has a day job. His crew to have day jobs, and my expectations were high. I wanted to get back to it, and from going from 20 wins a season, or 10 or 15, whatever it was, the year before. It's hard to only win a couple races then. And it was just the circumstances. So, I feel, Ryan's still a friend. Ryan's a great guy. Like Ryan a lot, and his family, great people. But that didn't work. And then went to I think Lance DeWeese got in the car then, I believe. I think Lance got
Boy.
in it. Or maybe
All right,
Lance
fans.
you know what? This is how old I am. Maybe somebody could tell me my timeline, because
I think-
can't tell.
Yes.
Was it Devin Borden then after that as well?
No, but at some point, Lance was in it before. We gotta get Lance on the phone. Jeez. No, Devin came after Ryan. Devin was after Ryan Smith.
Right.
So Devin, well, we'll just skip over. I apologize to anyone I'm skipping over, but I've had so many drivers, which is probably a bad thing.
Well, it is and it isn't. It's one of those things. Oh, I've seen
chat-
Tim Schafer comments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
Tim
people are
Schafer
saying
was
Tim
in,
Schafer.
and Tim did a really good job. We won, early part of the season. The one year we won, several races down in Florida with the 360. We came back. We won a couple at Lincoln. It was going really good, and then Tim had a crash at Lincoln. Got a little, I think he was hurt a little bit, and then things started to go a little bit downhill. And again, I needed to sort of get just fresh again. I always had admired the guys like Lance's and the Tims and the Gregs and every guys who have spent their entire careers in sprint cars and race sprint cars for a living. But then I decided to go another direction and hired Devin Borden to drive. And Devin came in and actually moved down was living by my shop for a while. And Devin won some races, did a really good job. But again, things didn't work out. I think what happened then, Devin was going to the Stamen team. So then Devin told me, he's going to go to the Stamen team. And so then I was looking for another driver. So, and at that point, I believe that's when I found Troy, when I asked Troy to drive. So that, if I'm wrong, please.
That's about right.
Sounds
Yeah.
like from the comments we got it
Kinzer
right.
was in my car or something. I'm not that delusional because I don't think Kinzer ever drove.
You had a lot of great drivers though in your car over the
years.
years.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Pittman,
Yeah.
you had Greg, you had Lance.
Yes.
I mean, is
Yes.
there something that you look for specifically with a driver? When you chose a driver, or is it just circumstances and how they came about?
Yeah, I think it's just circumstances, how the person conducts themselves, how they race. Lots of times, I mean, I could forgo possibly a personality defect for somebody that was really fast on the racetrack. So, that's possible because I put a lot of emphasis on doing well and winning. But I also put a lot of emphasis on having it be a good atmosphere at the racetrack. And that's what I found. Not that I had bad atmospheres. I can't think of one like really toxic atmosphere that I've been through. Some have been semi-toxic probably, but nothing really horrendous that I've ever been through in racing with relationships with drivers. So, then Troy came along, and Troy was kind of at his wit's end, as far as because he was in a couple cars. He was in the family car, and I know Willie supported him, and then he got a break and got into the 39 car. I'm not sure if he was in another one also, but he was kind of deciding whether he wanted to continue on or stop at that point. And we got him to drive, and from the very start, I think we had a lot of success. We've been, consistent, and, so I got the best of both worlds there. I have someone who can win races, but also, those guys on the team are like family to me. And Troy is so much fun to be around. He's such a juvenile at heart. He's a kid. He's 30 years old, but he's a kid. He's like me. I'm 57, but I act like I'm 12 sometimes, and that's fun for me. That's the kind of humor and stuff that I enjoy. And his Uncle Willie helps us out. Those guys bust their butts during the week. Ben Engel, who's the crew chief. They're definitely like family to me. Tommy, who helps on the crew. I don't know Tommy as well as I know the other guys, but I mean, he busts his butt every week too. So we have a core group of guys now, and it's been working out great the last 3 years. I get mad at them. In fact, on we won't talk about Selinsgrove yet. I'll talk about Clinton County. So this is how bad racing is. Like, racing just is. It will warm your heart, and then the next night it'll tear your heart right out of your body. And we won at Selinsgrove We've been struggling a little bit. We went at Selinsgrove on Friday night. Everything was great. And, I was all pumped up. Everybody's all pumped up. And we go to Clinton County and, we just sucked. And I'm saying we because I view it as a team effort. Like, even though I'm not there, I'm still responsible for part of it. So if we suck, I'm responsible for sucking, to some extent. So we qualified like crap, and then the heat raced like really the car wasn't good, didn't race well, and we didn't qualify in the B main. Had a tire, came in with like two pounds of pressure in it. So that was like my heart just got ripped out. And I texted those guys, and I know they don't like talking to me when stuff like that happens, because for like an hour I am like the devil. So I try not to say anything, but I texted them and I said, "What the F did I just witness?" Like, how do you go one night of being so good to the next night of sucking so bad? But that's racing. Like,
Yeah.
that is why racing is so great, and that is why winning races is so special, because it is so difficult to be consistent and to win races. People don't realize how hard it is to win races. There are guys that go their entire lives and careers that don't win a 410 sprint car race. And I look up to those people and commend them because they stick with it and they do it because they love it. But really, I mean, my adrenaline, when we're up in the top five, my heart is beating faster. But when you're winning or you're leading, my heart is like pumping out of my chest. So, it can be the greatest thing in the world, and it can be the most rotten thing in the world. And right there, that this past weekend, it was a
Within
perfect
24
example
hours
of it.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. And listen, it's one of those things where like those two tracks are not like light years
Completely
apart,
opposite.
and you had two different
Yeah.
completely light years apart results. And
Yes.
if I'm being honest with you, Troy's trend would think it would have been the opposite a little bit, right?
Yes.
Not that he can't win on a big racetrack, but
Right.
he's, Lincoln Speedway, short track, that's like, what a weird weekend. And honestly, it's kind of like a culmination of like what the last month has been a little bit, where like, okay, we've not been great. We think we found something. Selinsgrove was awesome. Oh shit, maybe we didn't.
Yeah.
But Clinton County also is such an anomaly, right? It's second time ever being there. So like you almost have to now. You're like, man, is Friday here yet? Did we learn anything? Did we really learn anything? Even though you're pissed off,
right?
Can we get to Friday so I can see if we actually fix this or not?
Yes.
I'm sure that's the conversation.
Yes. And I said to Troy, "Oh, I bet you never want to go back there again." He's like, "No, quite the opposite. I want to go back there tomorrow because I want to prove that we can do well there." And the last race, we were really good there. I think we ran fourth, but we were right on Whittle at the end. We had damage to our front axle from the beginning of the race. We had damage to our front wing, and we were still, we were up there in the hunt. So it was just a really weird, odd weekend. But the other thing is, and that's why this racing again, it is just so up and down, because we went from being probably the most consistent, Chase, and Chase is awfully consistent, but I think we went from being one of the top three most consistent teams in the region to being the most inconsistent team in the region. How does that happen in a month? Like, and we can't figure it out. We don't know if it's the tires or whatever, but we'll see Friday night. I'll look forward to it until we don't do well, and then I'll look for but I think we will. I think we will.
The nice thing about it, a team like yours, and you're committed to this, is saying, look, there is another race coming. This isn't.
Yes.
We're not in our farewell tour. We're going to have more opportunities, and in Central Pennsylvania, we're not short on opportunities to go get better, all right, or figure it out, or get another chance to go and say, hey, did we fix this? But I want to go back just a little bit. You talked about character flaws you could deal with, and Troy Wagaman Jr. I mean, let's talk about a character. So, there's a lot of people that, our buddy Ryan from the show knows Troy from way back. I met Troy at Speedway 94 when he literally was a kid, and he is the same guy today as I met when he literally was a kid, kicking all of our asses at Speedway 94. And it was very evident then, like I'm a normal, like I'm a race fan. I like to drive things, but I'm like you. I wouldn't
Yeah.
have the balls at the end of the straightaway
Yeah.
probably. I'd like to think I do, but I probably don't. But it was very evident for a long time ago that Troy Wagaman has some sort of unique talent for driving things.
Mhm.
This even goes to video games. This guy, I don't know how he does it on
Yeah.
iRacing. He just shows up, doesn't do it for like 3 years, and kicks our ass. And I'm like, how?
Oh, I didn't know
What?
that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like part-time will show up and he might wreck a couple of us, but he's also fighting for like top fives, like winning and like even on the NASCAR stuff, he just gets it. It's like unbelievable. But anyway, just a naturally talented, gifted guy in a race car. And I don't know how that came about in his like that's like one of those guys where you're just kind of born with it, right? Some guys can maybe be like,
Mhm.
oh, I got into it, I got
Yeah.
better. This seems like he was born to do this. Watching
Yeah.
him kind of grow, like when was there a certain point that he caught your eye? Was it in the 410s or were you like, hey, I know of this kid when he got into 358s and on his own deal and I remember his first few starts just running around the back in a 358 trying not to crash it and figuring
Mhm.
out how to make laps. I remember watching it. In fact, one of his first 358 starts, he tagged the back of a heat or a feature and a few of them in like, I don't know, 17th to 18th got together and he ended up in it and was barely moving and got in it. And I'm like, he tried to not be in it and still got in it. And it was like, oh man, I hope this kid can get back out there. Like we were all friends with him at that point, just starting his career, rooting this kid on. And he barely got a chance and wrecked the race car without none of his own
Yeah.
doing. And he progressed and progressed and progressed. So at what point did you kind of say, oh, was there, uh, put it this way. I'm not saying like, I don't want you to tell me, hey, I have my eye on him since he was, a kid. But at the same time, was there ever a point where you're like, man, if I ever had the chance, that would be fun?
Well, I didn't really recognize him, in the 358s that much. I knew his name, um, and I did see him race, and I believe I saw him win a race or two, in the 358s. But what really caught my eye was when he and Willie started up the 410 team, and how can you not know Troy Wagaman, the guy who pulls in with the open
The open
trailer
trailer.
and the spare tires on the rack, and like how can you not notice that? And he pulls the thing, they pull the thing down, him and Willie, and the thing's fast. Like Troy's driving it straight, he's driving it fast, he's driving it hard, and like I mean, that's just unheard of these days. So that's
Yeah.
when I really thought, hey, look at this kid, this young man is like,
There's
he's
something
got some
there.
heart in, and he can drive a race car. So I admired that. I think most of the people you asked admired that. That was a cool time in his career. When he was
Oh,
pulling up with
100%.
Willie
I mean,
in the pickup.
the,
Yeah, so
yeah, the
yeah.
definition of doing more with less, right? And when I
Yes.
say less, it was barely
Yeah.
less. It was barely making it to the racetrack less at some points, I think. Like
Yeah.
we can afford to do X and getting then started to be consistent or at least time
Hmm.
trial well and whatever the case may be and then gets an opportunity in the 39 and it is that's a whole different thing. But
Hmm.
like the funny how timing works out, right? Devin does makes his decision. How long did it take before you kind of said, talking to Troy, like, hey, this might be my guy, or did you kind of already be like, hey, I'm giving this guy a chance if he wants it?
Um, I think I kind of had to be talked into it. I mean, at that point, I was talking with Ben, and I were kind of making the decision, I believe. But again, my memory is not great anymore. But so I was kind of unsure, but I wanted to give him a try, wanted to give him a shot because I thought, well, you know what? Even though like the results weren't that great in the 39 car, um, but he was still pretty fast. And I thought, you know what? It's worth it because at that point I was struggling with finding something that I would be happy with. So I thought, I mean, at least give him a shot. I mean, obviously he's got talent. So, and then when I actually got to know him and his personality, that, made everything like click for me. I thought he's got talent and he's got this personality and he's such a humble, kind person, like I think he's respected. Maybe, he's up at the top of the list. You can see it on the track with people respecting him, on the racetrack. I've heard it from many, many drivers how, They love to race around him because he is respectful. Sometimes I have to tell him that he's not in his own stuff anymore. He's not, Willie's not going to pay for it if he wrecks it. And sometimes I tell him, don't worry if you wreck it. I don't want him to wreck it. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want him to get hurt. But sometimes, you have to drive it on the edge. And I think Troy's still not in no way a knock. I'm just speaking my mind here, but I think Troy still has that in the back of his head that, hey, I can't wreck this. We can't buy another left rear tire. I mean, one time he hit the fence at Lincoln, it destroyed the outer half of the wheel, and he was really upset about it. We finished the race and everything, but he was upset that he damaged the outer half of the wheel. And I was like, Troy, it's not a big deal. Like, this happens all the time. So, I think if I can get Troy Wagaman to become a little bit more aggressive, we're going to see a lot more wins too. Not saying that, his style is great, the style that he has, but, he has the utmost respect for his competitors too. And I also have to tell him, I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but I say, I have to tell him and reiterate the fact that, you drive other people how they drive you. And that's how, again, I never want to see anyone get hurt. I don't want to see their stuff get crashed, but if guys aren't giving you an inch, don't give them an inch. If guys are pulling short sliders on you and coming up across your nose, don't be afraid to do that to them.
It's interesting hearing you say that because I can see that in some of his driving, and I'm not a guy that's going to tell Troy what to do in a race car, believe me. But there's times where I've seen that driving style, and I agree with you a little bit. I think he's very smart. He's calculated. He knows what he wants to feel. He can run the top. He can run the bottom. But I also do feel like there is a little bit of that reckless abandonment, hesitancy at times.
Yes.
I feel like, right? Like, and that's a line to walk. And I think it was ingrained into him from the start of racing. Like, hey, you have one, right? Like, you do have one of these. And also though, like, it is that double-edged sword a little bit because I know he respects Ben and his team and his crew and the work they put in, and he doesn't want to make it worse, right? He doesn't want to create more work for himself or them. So that respect goes a long way, I'm sure, with the team. But at the same time, I think there is that, again, double-edged sword. Do we have him be that way for seventh, or is it for the win? And if he has it for the win, I believe in Troy and that Wagabomb mentality that we call it, that he's going to go do it for the win, right? Is it worth it for seventh sometimes? And I think there's that balance of him. He's pretty smart behind the wheel. Maybe he's, I don't want to say too smart. I don't think you can be too smart, but it's the time and place thing. And I think I think as he gains confidence and wins races and trusts the car and it's what he wants, I think you see that when it's time, right? And I don't know if there's been that many times in the last couple of years where he's chasing down the leader and it wasn't visibly faster than go win the race, or it's just this back and forth battle for the lead. It's like, hey, coming through the field to the lead, or he's in the lead and gone. So I think there's like this thing where we haven't seen too many times where he's chasing the carrot and has to go get it on the last lap. I think that's coming. I think there's going to be that day, and I think that's when we're really going to be like, all right, this is our guy. And he's already our guy. We're great. We're big fans. We're friends with him. But I think that, in sprint car racing today, we don't see too many battles at the end of these races anymore. It's very rare. It's usually with 8 to go, and that car's visibly faster. They started on the front row because it's time trials, and that, again, not taking away from anyone, but that handicap style coming through the field, Brian Monteith, Fred Raymer, Greg from 12th place and have to get there, and you're getting there at the end. We don't see that a lot anymore. So I think there is a little bit of that of like, it's a product of just today's racing. But I think if Troy gets that opportunity, he's in second, and it's maybe depending on which number car it is in front of him. I think we might see that guy. I think.
No, he's certainly hungry. He's hungry for the wins, and he wants to win. We all do. But yet I agree with you. I think it depends on who it is. Like the other week, where was at Williams Grove, he had a great battle with Danny Dietrich. And I know both of those guys respect each other. So perfect example of how nobody touched each other, nobody did anything dirty, and but they still, you didn't know who was going to win. So it's a good race. Troy, I can never tell anyone how to drive because I've never driven the things, and I know they're very difficult. So, or everyone would do it. But his style's more like I guess like almost like a Donnie Kreitz style, than a Sheldon Haudenschild style. He's
sure.
more definitely
Yeah.
more on the conservative side, but it works for him. It works for him, and but he can, like you said, Jeremy, he can get up there on the fence too. Yeah,
So the other one I want to talk about, and we'll get some questions here coming. I don't want to keep you too long, Mike. I know you got I appreciate the time already. Is Ben? Got to know Ben a
Yes.
little bit here the last couple of years, just kind of being friends with Troy and and doing the photography thing that I do, and getting them videos and whatever the case may be. Ben is a very seems to be he's quiet, calculated,
Mm.
but he speaks well. He's intelligent. How much thought do you put into, when you're, whether it was Devin or Troy or whoever, with that matchup, right? Personality wise, I think Ben could probably get along with almost anyone. That seems to be
Yes.
Ben's like superpower.
Mhm. Yep.
But at the same time, how much played into that when you were kind of looking at drivers of like, because it all matters. We all,
Yep.
that as much as anyone, that the
Mhm.
people matter the most. How much of that did play into it, or was it like, hey, Ben, surprise, here you go?
No. Ben and I definitely discussed it, and Ben knew more about Troy, I think, than I did. But I didn't. It was, if Ben would have said no, but it was more. I think it was more Ben's idea than it was mine. But Ben, of course, if one of us didn't want to do it, we wouldn't have done it. So you can't have it both ways. So we were we were definitely on the same page with that. And Ben gets along. I mean, this is a team, like the only one that gets upset, I think, on the team. I mean, I know they're upset inside, but I've never seen one of them yell at another. I'm the only one that's done. And I text usually, and I try to think before I say anything. Now, I don't just blurt it out, because then everyone would have quit already. So I just
And it
learned
is
to keep
hard.
my
I'm
mouth
sure.
shut for an hour or so. So
I'm sure, in your position, that's tough, right? Because the emotion's there. You're not really there per se. You have
Yeah.
these expectations, and they do too. And I'm sure that's also difficult. Like, okay, I know what I want to say, but I can't go fix it. And I know that they're busting their ass to fix it,
Right.
right? And I think
Right.
it would
I
be one
know.
of those things where if you didn't have a Ben and a Troy, and you had questions about whether it's, I don't know, the shop or attitudes or work ethic or whatever, I think it would be different. But I think that having that trust in those guys, that they're gonna get it right, they're gonna figure it out, because
Yeah.
they didn't forget, right? They didn't forget
No.
in a week, and something
No.
changed.
And they know that I'm behind them. Whatever they need, I will get for them. If they need help of any sort, whether it's another set of eyes or whatever, I'll do what it takes, because I believe in them. And I believe they should have everything they need at their disposal. But that I was just thinking about something, because Troy told me that one time Troy said, "Oh yeah, I thought I was going to get fired." I forget, this maybe a month or two ago. I said, "No." He goes, "Yeah. When it was me and Willie, he used to fire me every night at the car wash." So, and I could just see Willie like,
Oh God, I can hear it.
like,
That's yeah. I think Willie still might do that to car wash right
yeah,
now. He can't, but I
don't
think he
think
still
does
might.
it. I don't think he does it so much anymore. Maybe he does it at home behind closed doors, but
I love that guy. Oh
yeah,
man, he's a character.
it's definitely a blessing, that I have those guys on my team and in my life. So
So I want to get wrapped up. One of the fan questions that I'm actually going to do, Jimmy typically, and he is going to have a couple. The one thing that I actually literally genuinely curious about is the 27H. What's the deal there? Now, when I say that, is not right in this moment, that today is August 17th.
yeah, yes.
Tell me about this car a little bit, because I know it, mainly was wingless, kind of transitioned to wing, but
Yeah.
what's the involvement? Where did that come from? It sort of seems like it's kind of over here. listen, when I say these things, please don't take it that I know anything.
Oh, no.
But I'm saying it's kind of feels like, hey, it's over here. It doesn't run as often. It's a different thing. But
Yes.
where's that fit into the puzzle?
Well, that's a good question because I'm not even sure. So
fair enough.
But no, I'll tell you what's behind it. It started out as the 5G, and Bill Gallagher had owned it. Kurt Michael drove it, URC, and then Kurt retired. Then Kurt became crew chief for Bill on the wingless car with Briggs Danner. Had a lot of success, and Bill passed away unexpectedly during COVID. So the team, I don't think, was going to carry on, and I felt like not obligated, but I just felt like Kurt was a really, has been a really good friend, and he had a lot invested in it emotionally, and I said, Kurt, I'll we'll talk to the Gallaghers because they were going to sell the stuff off. I'll buy the stuff, and then you can run it. So we did that a couple of years wingless, had some success, had some good times with Briggs. Definitely an up and comer, and definitely a hell of a shoe. But we sort of got tired of the wingless stuff because I really don't understand as much in the wingless deal as I do in the. Not that I understand a lot in the wing stuff, but the wingless stuff is sort of like you got to go out to Indiana, you got to do a lot of traveling, you got to do this, got to do that. And Kurt and I just came to the conclusion that we want to just do winged racing. And then, we've had several drivers there also, but, currently Bryce Lucius drove it, a couple months ago, and, did good, was out in Ohio Speedway, but it was never meant to be a full-time thing for him. It was kind of transitional thing, so it wasn't going to be a full-time thing. And we really don't have any plans going forward. And I think at this point, Kurt works on it down in Delaware, and it's not something where we have to run it every week. We don't need to run it at all, or we could run it every week. So it's something that if the right opportunity comes along with the right driver and possibly the right backing, that will do it. But we're sort of just sitting tight. And also Kurt and Sean's mom is not in the best of health right now. So he's basically has to stay around home. So that has a lot to do with the situation. He's kind of the caretaker there. So, he can't be out, in California racing. But I don't know what's going to become of it. I'm really not sure. And, I'd like to someday have a traveling team. I would love to have a car on the World of Outlaw Trail. But I'm such a fan of Pennsylvania racing, I want a car here also. So I can't see a day where I could see a day where I possibly have one here and out on the road. But I can't see a day where I'd have a car on the road and not here. So, I know Troy and team would be perfectly, if they went out on the road and toured with High Limit or with World of Outlaws, they would win races. I'm not saying they're going to win a championship, but they will win races. I can guarantee you.
I believe you.
I
wholeheartly believe you.
Yeah. But they don't want to do that, and I respect that. They all have full-time jobs. They enjoy. Well, I don't know if they enjoy what they do during the day, but they're committed to what they did during the day. They're committed to being to working during the day, and they're committed to racing on the weekends and putting in the hours at night. And I fully respect that, and I would never ask them to go out on the road. Now, if they came to me and they said, "Hey, we want to go out on the road," I would tell them yes, go and do it. And then, try to put another car in central Pennsylvania. But I don't think that day's going to come. I just don't think and like I said, I have to, I fully respect that, and I wouldn't ask them to do that. So that's what 27H comes in. I have an operation there where it could possibly go on the road at some point, but that's, down the road.
And as a photographer, who the hell decided to make it fluorescent yellow?
I don't know. You know what? I like it. I'm always telling them to make it stand out, but
no, it does. It definitely stands out.
we'll definitely blame Kurt Michael on that, though. That was not,
Okay,
yeah,
fair enough. That's well, that we'll stick to that story.
yeah.
Jimmy, let's get him moving along. What are some of the other fan questions? I really wanted to ask that 27H question because I
Yes.
saw that come up, and that was something I wanted to get to anyway. So what else we got for him here?
Our buddy Troy Savage asked this before, buddy from New Zealand. He said, what's one thing you would change in sprint car racing, if anything at all, right now?"
There are probably a lot of things I change, but I'm just another voice. I don't have the power to change things. That's the thing that everybody has to get together in order to change something. So, the rules are governed by the two biggest sanctioning bodies, and that's just the way it is. Unless everybody gets together and not revolt's not the word, but lobbies for a change, things aren't going to change. But I would probably say it's the tires. Open things up, because I'm sick of paying. A front tire is now $300,
That's crazy.
$290 for a front tire, and they get worn off. You used to be able to run them for like 10 races. I don't know if they're making the compound softer now or what, but you go through a set every 5 races or so. If you have a track with rubber down, you might go through a set a night. So there's no reason that I look at that front tire and there's no reason it should be $300. And then we're talking, for rear tires, 350 plus. I just think there's better options out there that could make them more affordable for the racers, and give them some. But it's very complicated. It's not that easy. So
It
I
is,
just
and
don't see
that's my question I've always had is, let's just say tomorrow American Racer said, "Yep, we're in," and the sanctioning body said, "Yep, we're all going to do this." If it's not um, a performance equal, nobody's going to use it
Yeah, yeah,
except the small budget teams who don't win already, right?
right.
That are just going to pay less. So even if to say the Hoosiers $400 for a right rear, an American Racer's 280, but an American Racer's a half a second slower, no team is going to buy them. So, in a competitive standpoint, even if it happened tomorrow, if they're not equal and one's cheaper than the other to help create competition,
Hmm.
what would it change? And there would have to be a lot to go into that, like you said, and way more than even I can comprehend to make it actually viable or a thing. I just and then hey, wow, we found out this cheaper tire works better on this style, condition, or track, and then this tire works better over here. And now you got teams buying 2 different kinds of tires in their
Yeah,
trailers,
Are you
like it
really
was in the old
saving?
day. And
yeah,
did you really save a penny or save anything?
yeah.
A short of somebody going, and again, it's got to be an industry wide thing. But if Hoosier has these contracts, they're paying an awful lot of money to someone or entities or tracks or series or whoever. Are they really going to bite the hand that's feeding them in some respects? That because it's got to be everyone, right? It's got to be owners, drivers, teams,
Mhm. Yeah,
tracks. It's got to be everyone.
yeah,
And is that even realistic? And I don't have the answer at all by any means, but I just don't see an end game to it unless something massive happens.
yeah. Definitely, there needs to be a unified front. And like you said, could you imagine if High Limit went to American Racers and World Outlaws stuck with Hoosiers, what kind of a mess that would create?
Mhm.
Now you got the Williams Grove is on Hoosiers and Port Royal's on American Racers, and it's just
It would
there's
create
so
more
much thought,
division.
but I just think there's somebody's got to be smart enough out
I
there to
know.
come up with something where because we're going through you go through sometimes 6 tires a night, depending on the track surface. So, between your fronts and your rears. So, that's a really bad night on tires. I mean, sometimes you get through the night and you can go through it with just the 4 you have on for time trials or for the heat race. But still you burn through at least a set of 2 in the back, and you're upwards of $800 right there. So, I'm all for also, getting a tire that is, mandating a harder compound possibly that would slow the cars down and make the racing better. I can remember back, I was beginning of my career as a car owner. We had the good years, and I just think the racing was better with those things, and there were more incentives. Goodyear was, for every 10 races you had, Goodyear would give you a free tire, and so we got to get back to something like that, or try to at least.
Do you think, and this is again opinion, let's say the tire prices stayed the way they were, but Hoosier could at least get the tires consistent, that you knew what you could put on every night was going to be what you expect. Well, do you think teams would quiet down a little bit about it, or do you? Because right now the thing I'm continuing to hear is we feel great on this tire, we change a tire and put a new one on, and we're out to lunch. And they're finding a lot of inconsistencies with whether it's growth or shrinking or whatever the issues are. Do you think it would at least be tolerable if at least the product was consistent?
I think so. I think you'd hear a lot less about it, but they're not consistent now. The sizes are terrible. They'll put a hot mark on at the factory to indicate what size the tire will blow up to, and there's times where they're off 2 or 3 inches, where it's unacceptable, because you can't then you can't even return that tire, and you basically can't use it. So you have to wait for the right situation then to use that tire. So, it's not, I feel like, and maybe I'm looking at the wrong way, but I feel like, we get taken advantage of with the tires. I feel like,
I agree
it's
completely.
monopolized, and we're taken advantage of. And believe it or not, from being in the track ownership category also, I've learned that Hoosier really doesn't give a ton of money to the tracks. It's mostly based on car counts and, per car. So, is it enough to pay your point fund at the end of the year? Sure. Is it enough, where the track it's make or break the track? No. So that's not,
Interesting.
I don't know about the series. I know, the distribution of wealth when it comes to like streaming, like flow, is a lot different from track to track too. So I don't know if Hoosier is much different track to track. I don't know. I know the local track owners, but I don't know nationally. Does Knoxville get more from Hoosier than Williamsgrove? I don't know.
No.
So
Yeah, and I think they're because, like I said, I think if it's ever going to change, it's got to be a unified front with
It
all
does.
parties in racing, and
Absolutely.
and I think it's going to also have to be. It's not just we're showing we're here to, like, there's a problem. I think everyone knows it, but it's coming with a solution with all the same parties, and that's probably the hardest part, is getting
Yes.
everyone to come up with a solution that
Yep.
they agree upon. I mean, it's hard enough for us to get a Posse series agreement across the board. I
Yes.
think a little
Yes.
bit, right? And that there's a lot of
Yes.
different
Yep.
minds and not attitudes, point of view, history, knowledge. I think it's a lot of people involved in all of that to get it to everybody go in the same direction and come up with a solution. Because I think
Yes.
that's really what it's about. It's we all acknowledge the problem, but we all have to be together on a solution that's
Mhm.
acceptable to everyone. So,
Yep.
Jimmy, go ahead. And that was the big
Uh,
change. Tires. I know there was an interesting one about WWE.
Yep.
Where is that?
Yeah. So Tony Sharp here, PA Dirt Tractor
this?
Promotion, says, tell us about the episode of WWE Most Wanted Treasures that you were on.
Oh, well, I'm a huge wrestling collector. Troy's also a big wrestling fan. He went to WrestleMania this past, so that's another thing we have in common that we laugh about. But yeah, I'm a huge collector of professional wrestling memorabilia. Another thing, similar to racing, I don't remember going to ball games as a kid, although my dad took me. But I remember going to wrestling matches when I was like 6, 7 years old. So that stuck with me more so than the baseball games. So I kind of grew up with the wrestling and always looked at it as a great form of entertainment. And then they started to collect the memorabilia and stuff. So, they ran that show on A&E, and I was actually on a couple episodes. They came to my house with some of the wrestlers and, looked through my stuff, and it was scripted mostly, but, they made a trade with me, and, so yeah, that was actually a lot of fun. Yeah, going on that show.
That is cool.
Pretty awesome. Yeah.
That is really neat. Have you had anything else similar to that in your collector's journey, that with whether it's TV, magazine, print? I mean, have you been? I'm sure, I would imagine
Yeah,
somewhere, but
yeah,
do those
yeah.
opportunities come about?
Yeah, in the old days, I remember, more so than the modern days, because there's so much on the internet. But I remember being, Leland's was prominent in the 1990s when there weren't quite as many auction houses and sports memorabilia dealers around. And I've been in, articles in USA Today. I don't even know if that exists anymore. And we had an article in Time Magazine about us, and some other significant publications. I always thought that was cool because I never in my life, when I was a kid growing up or when I was an adult, imagine that, hey, we would get I would be co-owner of a business that would get this kind of attention. Nor did I ever dream that I dreamt as a kid of becoming a sprint car driver, but I also dreamt of becoming an owner, and I can't believe I have to pinch myself sometime. I'm blessed, and I'm incredibly lucky to be able to live this dream. So,
Super
and
cool.
likewise in the sports memorabilia business, that was something I dreamed as a kid, making it into a business, and it worked out. So I am truly blessed, and I thank the good Lord.
So who's on your Mount Rushmore of WWE? What are your Mount Rushmore?
Well, I would say in WWE, you gotta put Hogan up there, and Ric Flair. They're the two most prominent guys, I think, in modern wrestling history. But then you go back, to the 50s. You start back in the teens with Frank Gotch, who was probably, who was the best of his time, for 19 teens and 20s. Then you got Strangler Lewis and Gorgeous George, and then you go into the 60s with Bruno Sammartino, and then the modern era, you have so many guys. I'm a huge Rock fan. I like The Rock. I just think he's an incredibly talented person. A one in a 100 million type guy who, great actor and also a great athlete. So, he's definitely got to be up there too. But then, going back a little bit further, Andre the Giant and probably Bruno Sammartino, champion for 15 years or whatever it was. So those are the type of guys I like.
It's such an interesting history, and I don't know way back, but when this would have been super late 90s, early 2000s, that era was real. Stone Cold and The Rock.
Yes.
And probably 3 years I was into it, and I'll probably always look back and go, man, I was glad I was into it during those few years, because that was like, looking at it now, I couldn't name 5 people, but
Yeah.
I can name plenty back then, and that was like, as people look at it today and look back at that time, that was an era that they look at and go, that was some of the best ever. It was an era that ranks up there in eras, right? You said, Hogan and Flair, Stone Cold, The Rock, that era, those two are very close. And I was pretty cool that I'm glad I always look back at those couple years that I actually liked it and enjoyed it, that it was that era. That was super neat.
That was probably that is the golden age of, people say, well, the golden age is the 50s when, Gorgeous George was on television and stuff. But really the golden age was like early 2000s, the Attitude Era, because that was the best. So,
Dom Malaire.
Yeah, Dom Malaire. He says, asks, what's the story on the Legendary Pictures partnership?
I don't know what this is at all.
Yeah. Well, we used to have Legendary Pictures as a sponsor.
Yeah.
And Legendary Pictures produced a lot of really, really high level films. The Hangover. I'm trying to think offhand, but a lot, the Hangover movies, a bunch of others, very prominent films. But it just turns out that I was friends with the president of the company, the owner of the company, and one of the few times that I went to somebody actually offered me sponsorship. So I had to say yes. It wasn't like Legendary Pictures was not getting a lot of business out of having their name on the wing. Everybody knew about Legendary Pictures, and the movies that they made. But I just had a friendship and have a friendship with the person who owned the company. So that's the story behind that.
Interesting. I'm going to have to go look this up now, because I don't remember. I'm sure I've seen it, but I don't remember seeing it, if that makes sense.
So,
it was on.
I remember. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it was on the top wing for 3 or 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
That was
Huh.
something I remember that always stood out on the car. And the other thing that I wanted to ask you that also stood out on your car is the Hatchet Man. It's not
Oh,
really
the
a Hatchet
Hatchet
Man.
Man. Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, Mike, Insane Clown Posse on a car,
Yeah.
like, but I noticed now,
Yes.
it's a little bit different.
Yeah, a little
What's
bit
the story
different. Yeah,
behind
we
that?
don't want to get hit with copyright infringement. But yeah, I just get a kick out of like professional wrestling. Believe it or not, Insane Clown Posse, those two guys are into professional wrestling a lot. And their, music and, whether you like them or not, I know it's very extreme, their music and stuff, but I look at it as almost being comical and I get a kick out of them. And I think they're funny. I don't know if they're necessarily meant to be funny, but to me, they are. A lot of it is comical what they do, and I kind of got, listening to their stuff, watching their wrestling. The Juggalo Championship Wrestling, which is actually really, really, really creative. And so I saw this logo and I was like, oh, this is a great logo to put on here, and I put it on the car, and it's been on ever since. So. It's just like the girl in the front with the machine gun. Kurt Michael, when I got into racing, Kurt and Sean were two of my first friends in racing. And Kurt had that logo on his helmet. I was like, what is that logo? He goes, I don't know. It's just cool. It's a girl with a machine gun. And it's on the hood of the car. And ever since 2009, that's been on the hood of the car. And that's the reason. So most of the stuff has very, very little thought behind it.
Well, I think if you know Troy's helmet this year, that's going to have to be something on your car moving forward.
Oh man, yes, that is. It's borderline R-rated. But I don't think it's that bad.
I love it.
No parents have complained yet about it, but it is. I love it. I love it because it's so funny and it's so Troy. If you know Troy,
it is. And that was going to be my next question. And you don't have to answer this on the spot unless you have an answer.
Yeah.
If Troy had a WWE wrestling name, what would it be? So,
I can. It would be Sergeant Longstaff. That would be it. That would be it. He refers to himself as Sergeant Longstaff sometimes, so that would be it.
Oh my God. That's funnier than you can even possibly imagine. Being that you don't know me and I don't know you, but the conversations we've all had in other.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, if Troy's in a crowd of people and you yell Sergeant Longstaff, he will be the one to turn around and look. So.
Oh my God. Well, yep, got it. So you had the answer.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. All right, are there any other ones, Jimmy? We'll get him out of here.
There's a couple, and I cut one or two more. This is also from Tony. It said, and it ties in with another question I kind of have for you. It's been said that local weekly regular shows are on the way out. That Traction could adopt a special shows schedule. What's your opinion? I kind of wanted to get your opinion. It's in its infancy. It's in its first year. But what's your opinion on the PA Posse series so far and how it's gone so far in 2026?
Well, I think based on last weekend, I mean, there were a few low car counts, Bedford and Clinton County the first time around, but I mean, I think Selinsgrove and Clinton County both had like 36 cars. So to me, that's a huge success right there because Selinsgrove, I was involved up there and it was always a struggle to get a full field.
Yes.
And here
It's
they
the first
are.
time I've seen a B-main there in a few years.
So, and it looked like the crowd was a good one too.
Yes.
Which you wouldn't figure because, Knoxville was on Dirt Vision and people were watching that and they were at home. So, I was really happy to see that. So I think the Posse series is working out well so far. Is it perfect? No, but it's the first year and people have to understand the first year is when you find out where you made mistakes and where you need to have improvements. So people are harsh on it, but yet they don't, that's one of the things in racing that drives me insane is that there's always negativity and I never hear anything positive. Well, I think that the Posse series has definitely been take away the rest of the season. Just look at the last weekend. It produced two pretty good races. I mean, the one in Clinton County was better than Selinsgrove race wise, but it big car counts. So obviously it's people definitely, want to participate. And what was the other question? The special show format. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, from a track standpoint, tracks don't make money on regular shows. That's a fact. You can ask any of the owners, promoters of the local racetracks, and they will tell you that they're lucky if they break even on a regular show. The bigger shows are the ones that you make money on. The regular shows you typically lose money on. So, in the scheme of things, it would look like you should only run special shows if you were really a wise businessman. But then you have to also look at the fact that tracks are selling season passes, tracks are selling advertising. So you have to have a certain amount of shows to keep your season ticket holders and your advertisers happy, and to also create a Friday night is Williams Grove. You don't want Friday night becoming Williams Grove, Clinton County, Selinsgrove, and 5 other tracks. So you want to keep your night, Lincoln, Port Royal Saturday nights. So there is definitely a couple different things. It's not as easy as just saying, well, we're only going to have special shows. I mean, profitability wise, it would be the tracks are actually trying to do the right thing for the fans and the supporters by having regular shows and continuing to have regular shows. If the tracks were going to be selfish, and I shouldn't say selfish, that's a bad word. If they were going to be wiser, wanted to make more money, they would only have regular shows, because I can tell you from experience, they would only have special shows, because typically a special show will make money, and typically a regular show will lose money or break even.
So, I'm being involved in Lincoln, and I don't have to know any insider information or whatever. But the success of the Steve Smith race that we just had, I know that was a huge success, not only in person, but that was a big success in streaming, car counts. It overall was one of the bigger races for Lincoln Speedway in recent memory.
Yes.
And being the night it was all of it. As I look at Lincoln being kind of a unique place where they don't have multiple outlaw or high limit dates, weekend dates, where that's hugely successful for a Port Royal and a Williams Grove. Lincoln has that, the Speed Week shows, and they've like, I mean, how important do you think it is to sort of try to find a yearly replication of that Steve Smith success at Lincoln? Because there's not that many opportunities in that schedule and the way it falls right now with the sanctioning bodies and weekday outlaw shows. While it's been fairly successful, it's certainly not a 2-day show that fills the stands multiple times a year. So Lincoln is in kind of a not perilous spot, but a little bit. I mean, again, I don't need to know all the conversations, but is that kind of a topic of conversation right now about, hey, 2027, we got to try to figure out that magic at least a few nights a year to really pack this place?
Yeah, it is incredibly important. We have the 2 shots of Speed Week. We have the icebreaker, which is usually a success, even if it is a little bit cold. And then we have, the outlaw race, which I'm not sure next year if there's 1 or 2. I'm not sure yet. There's definitely 1, I believe. I'm not sure if there are 2. And then we have, a couple big races at the end of the year. But those are really our opportunities. If any of those get wiped out by rain or weather, that puts a big damper on the ability to make a profit at the end or see a profit at the end of the year. So we're definitely one to try to replicate. I don't think we can replicate fully what had occurred this year, but we want to try to do something special. And Lincoln, I got to thank our regular fans, because we have a tremendous amount of dedicated fans who show up every single week that we race. And if it wasn't for those fans, we wouldn't be able to do it. So God bless the fans, because they really keep it alive. And I just have to encourage people. I know you can watch it too, but have to encourage people to try to come out to the track. And there's the streaming thing is a big deal also. The streaming thing is here to stay. Whether you like it or not, it's not going anywhere. It's happened. It's sprouted up. It's grown, and we're not going to be able to get away from it. So tracks have to try to be a little bit creative and use it to their advantage to gain back some of that revenue that they're losing from people staying home and watching it on the computer. So that's another hurdle, that we have to overcome, and we'll figure it out. There's plenty of smart
Yeah, no
people
doubt,
around,
and
so we will
for
figure it
sure.
out.
And we've talked at length on this show, about we've kind of grown up at the racetracks and been there for years. And I was a Lincoln guy most of my adult life, and seen it kind of that heyday where it didn't matter if it was a special show or not, and the
Hmm.
place would be packed, and it would be a
Yeah.
thunderstorm at 9, and we'd stay till 2, and
Yes,
crowds were there,
I remember those days. Yeah.
I we've been a little bit. I've been a little bit critical in this show at Toward Tracks a little bit on. I think they're about 5 years late on replacing some of those fans. Not because I think that the age of the average fan, the Williams Grove season ticket holder, I'm sure they could figure out that demographic. It got old pretty quick, that age. And I
Yes.
don't know if all the tracks locally did a good enough job seeing it soon enough to replace that fan that either can't make it to the track anymore, they passed on, they didn't have the energy to get there anymore, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And there's still many
Yeah.
loyal fans, but do you kind of do you see it that way a little bit too, or is it another thing where
Yeah.
it's just the world is changing, or do you feel? Because I personally feel like the tracks were a little bit behind on going. We got to play catch up now. I mean,
I
I don't know. How do you kind of view
Yeah,
that?
I think you're exactly right, Jeremy. I think a little bit late. Now we got to compensate. We got to try to get younger fans out there. More kids activities, more kids nights, things like that. I think that's highly important. To get these kids involved in an early age, so as teenagers. But again, there's so many more options in this world today than there were in 1990 for kids.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. So as technology evolves, the racetracks have to evolve with it and overcome it. So, but I definitely agree that, yeah, the fan base is a lot older when you look around, and there needs to be more youngsters and kids there.
Well, I have plenty of kids. I just got to get them to the racetrack. Hopefully, they like
Just
it.
get
But
out
too
there.
many daughters. That's the problem. Jimmy,
No.
we got maybe time for one more. We'll get him out of here.
One more, and we'll stick with Tony's here. Sorry we couldn't get to everybody's questions, but what's your most favorite piece of your wrestling collection?
Oh man, that's really tough. That's really tough. I have so many favorite pieces, but I would say one of the best, one of my favorite pieces is I have there were 3 or 4 made, and I have one of them is Mick Foley's Mankind mask
Oh
that he
wow,
wore. And that's one
Yes.
of my favorite pieces because Mick Foley, one of my favorite wrestlers, admire his ability and his tolerance of pain, and his style of wrestling, the hardcore style. So I have one of those, and it was cool because for the one wrestling show that I did on A&E, Mick Foley actually came to my house, and he was one of the hosts for that show, and he saw it. He's like, I wore that. I was like, yeah, it's not a replica. He goes, that was one of mine. And and I have it matched to, there's a TV guide cover of him wearing that identical mask. But that's one of my, I mean, I have a lot of favorite pieces. It depends what day you ask me and what pops in my mind first. But Mankind's mask is definitely right up there with one of my
Super
favorites.
cool.
Oh,
He was one of those he was one of those guys where I don't know if he was ever like the crowd favorite, but he was always someone that people generally were like, "This is cool. Like it's
oh
just
yeah,
different.
he
It's cool." Like it was like that. Like you almost felt bad for the guy a little bit because he's always getting his ass kicked.
yeah,
So you were kind of
yeah,
like, "Yeah, he's like the nose tackle on a football team. It's
yes,
gritty. He
absolutely.
grinds it out. Super fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, his dedication to the business is, I would say, above anyone else's that I've ever seen, because he just put his body on the line every single night, and for no other reason other than to prove that he could entertain the fans and tolerate it. So,
Super
yeah,
cool, man.
yeah.
Mike, thank you so much for the
All right,
time.
guys.
It's way longer than I
Yep,
expected,
we're gonna get
but
the
thank you
kids
so
to
much.
bed.
So
So
gracious for your time, man. Thank you so
hope
much.
to
We'll
see
hopefully
you
Thank
see
the
you
you
at
next
the
so
couple
racetrack.
much.
weekends. Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Mike. You
Have a
too.
good night.
Thank you.
Thank you,
too.
Mike. Thanks, Mike Heffner, again for joining us. That was awesome. Really fun interview there. And thank you guys. Sorry, there's a couple. I know there's a couple more questions, but we can't. We had to.
Yeah, we talked long
it's up
enough.
late.
That I didn't expect it to go that long. He may hate us. I don't know, but man, like I genuinely like today was like I don't even know where I'm going to start. I don't know what I want to ask. I want to ask all of the questions because it's not a guy that you hear from in public a ton, and he's done interviews for sure, but pretty behind the scenes. Whether it's with Lincoln, we're pretty close with Ben and Troy, and we know the team pretty well, and they do their thing, right? They're
Yeah.
tasked to take care of it. So that was super cool. That's definitely one I'll
and he
remember
does.
for a while.
As we got to talk to him a little bit more too, you just start to realize like he does a lot for the sport, not just putting a car out there on the track. You know what I mean? He does a lot.
Absolutely.
So. All right, let's get into real quick. We're going to recap the past weekend of racing, and we'll start there at Selinsgrove, where Troy got the win over Logan Wagner, Justin Whittle, Freddie Raymer, Lucas Wolf, Mark Smith, Austin Bishop, JJ Loss, Derek Hauk, and Buddy Schwabens. Your top 10, your quick time is Justin Whittle. Your heat race winners were also Justin Whittle, Austin Bishop, Cody Hartlop, and Lucas Wolf. And your hard charger going 23rd to 13th, plus 10, was Mike Walter. Good battle a little early on between Justin Whittle, who started on the pole this one, and Troy Wagaman. Troy got around him early, was able to really stay out there while Logan Wagner was super impressive in this one. Got himself the second. Paddling with Lucas Wolf there and again with Justin Whittle. But Troy did what he needed to do to get this one done. This was 33 cars signed in for this one. One of the bigger car counts at Selinsgrove that they've seen in a while. I don't even think they got that much for the NACE last year. So really encouraging car count and a really great surface and good racing and good job for Troy for winning this one.
A lot of surprises here. Surprise on the car count. Wasn't surprised with the crowd. I think this weekend, for all the shit I think tracks have gotten for racing this weekend, Clinton County showed it a couple years ago that they could pack the place and get race cars on a Friday night. If you recall, I think it was a Friday night deal, right? This proved again that the cars showed up. It wasn't even their biggest purse. It was a Posse race. So I don't know. I don't know what the magic is about Knoxville weekend around here, but we seem to fill our racetracks and the teams show up. So I was always kind of against why are we racing this weekend? Does it make sense? But honestly, with the Posse series, this makes a lot of sense. It's not a primary for track points. This was a great job by the Posse series to put these two tracks this weekend instead of the big three. Because then the whole points thing. Remember the owners' points shit last year at Williams Grove, just that mess of it. This was kind of worked out really well. Big surprises for me. Logan Wagner, he shouldn't be, but it is. Did fantastic. Justin Whitall is good everywhere right now. It's got a pretty good race car everywhere. Freddie did a nice job here. Lucas Wolf was a big surprise from time trials to the feature.
Yeah, top
best
5.
We've seen him in that car yet. I think he's pretty comfortable there. Mark Smith held their own. They've been good up here. Austin Bishop, great job. But JJ Loss.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but he loves this place. The 39 went really well when he was in it up there. He passed race cars. The X, I don't know if again, love these guys, but I don't know if I've seen the X pass a race car in 3 months. And he was ripping. I don't know what it is. He's comfortable here. He likes this place. Every time I looked up, he's passing another race car. It felt like I think I have video of him going 3 wide down the front stretch and against the inside wall and made it work into one somehow. I was like, holy shit. I thought they were all going to be junk, but it's super impressive. There was just a lot of interesting things here. And it was kind of an interesting field of cars that made this race interesting that I wasn't sure. Justin Whitall, in my opinion, quick time in hot laps, quick time in time trials, felt like his race to lose because, Troy, while starting up front here, admittedly hasn't been great lately. And then all of a sudden it's holy shit, bam, this thing was a rocket ship. So it was a whole night of surprises for me.
Yeah. Whittle, first heat race, he went quick time. He went 4th the first, almost almost immediately. You just felt like, man, that was like this was going to be a night for him. But then Troy also did a pretty good job. He went from fourth in his heat race. He finished second in his heat race and was coming after the leader with I think it was either Bishop or Hartlob. I think it was Bishop. The second heat race. That he
thought he
was
got
kind
to
of closing
third.
in on towards the
I
end.
thought he got to third to make the redraw, and he was almost second.
I'm pretty
Did
sure
I mess
he
that up, or
was
did he get second at the line?
Yeah, he finished second. Yeah, to Bishop. There it is.
Okay.
So, yeah, and he was kind of, you know, who knows if he had another lap or two. But either way, like they were able to pass cars early on, and looked really good. Um, I thought this, he had 358s there too. Not a huge car count for them. I think it was 14 and 10 wingless sportsmen, 3 division show. God, you just said about JJ Lawson, that X car. How about Austin Reed getting the win in the 358 division here? Looked really, really good. I mean, he was gone. I mean, nobody was
From
catching
the
him
start, from
from
the
the
jump.
start. He looked really good. Congratulations to him. It was awesome to see him in that car win, for sure. So good night for that whole team. And then Tony Jackson won the wingless sportsman feature, which was pretty decent. Him and Steve Wilbur had a hell of a battle for like 7 or 8 laps. It felt like side by side.
Hey, that
Overall,
358 feature, by the way, couple
mhm.
things. It was awesome to see Austin Reed back to victory lane. He likes the big half miles, Hagerstown. Well, he might not like Hagerstown as much since he went in the woods that time and had a tree branch through his hand, if you remember. But
Yeah.
a lot of success in the 305s at the end of there at Selinsgrove at a Hagerstown. But the coolest part of that was his son, who friend of the show, right?
Mhm.
Wyatt got up on the wing, tried to do a wing dance, but he's not tall enough to get over the top of the wing. So you could just see the flag waving a little bit. But Austin told us that Wyatt was crying in victory lane. His dad won
Uh,
in a 358, won a race. So, man, just great people. Love those guys. That whole crew, that whole team. Cool to see Austin get back to 358, get comfortable, and they knew they were close. The battle with him and Eli Tuckey at Williams Grove a couple weeks ago,
yep.
Austin was right there. So they knew they had some speed. But I got to be honest, man, I didn't pick him at the start of this one of the night. I thought Andy Best, Chase Gutshaw, these half mile guys, big motor experience, they were there. But man,
Mhm.
that 34X was just a rocket ship.
6 to first, and he was checked out. He was gone. um, yeah, just overall, fantastic night for Selinsgrove. It was great to see the stands packed, a good car count for the 410s, one of the biggest car counts that they've had in a few years. Um, and just fantastic racing. The surface was dialed in. It was really good. You could pass, even though it was fast. It's still gonna be fast, half mile, almost wide open early on. But man, they were still passing each other, side by side racing. It was fantastic. If you didn't get a chance to see this one at the track or on PA Posse TV, you missed out a little bit because it was fantastic. It was a really, really good night of racing. Um,
A little disappointed with the 358 car count,
yeah,
based on it being a good winner's purse, and they hadn't been racing much. I don't how I like the Williams Grove cars. Where were they at? The Williams Grove 358 cars, because how's this any different than racing at Williams Grove? You can't tell me it's harder on
other
motors. You can't tell me that you're short on equipment. Like
maybe a
I
little
don't
bit
know
of
if
the
I
extra
quite get
travel,
it.
maybe, but
Friday night maybe, but that's Williams Grove. I was a little disappointed in that based on how much this was to win, and to you don't get to go up there very often. I a little, like, again, not this isn't a Selinsgrove problem to me by any means, because I think it would be different if they were racing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're not. They weren't. I wasn't super encouraged by that. Different story for the wingless sportsmen, where they had a race the next night, and that division doesn't typically do great with one of the 2 nights, especially like if Path is on the schedule, which it was the next night. They tend to not do well on either side of it, a little bit. Tony Jackson was talking to me about that, but man, I wish there were some more 358s up there, because that again, we didn't need it, but this was still a good show without it. But a little discouraged by that division not really coming up and supporting this deal.
yeah. Bert here in the comments. I said, I appreciate you guys coming up. Troy told me he passed more cars in the heats than he did at the Grove all year. JJ said best surface in PA right now. Big shout out to Blaine, Steve Page, Zach Ferochik. And everyone that has Selinsgrove Badass right now, August 30th just got bigger. So they do have another race here in 2 weeks, Sunday, 410 show. And then he also says 358 Boys said they want more up here. We're going to try to make more happen. So we'll see about that, especially with the way kind of, URC's kind of been sparse. The 358s are a little more dominant around here than the 360s. So, yeah.
Well,
But
and
yeah,
I think too
overall, but
the Posse series changed this up a little bit, right? Because Lincoln's
mhm,
racing a little bit less, so they've had less races at Lincoln, Williams Grove with Port Royal with rainouts, and like Baps added some races, but they're spread out. So definitely some opportunity here, but the guys do need to support it, right? These
mhm.
14 that showed up loved it, but we need to have fields. So yeah, I see how this evolves, how it goes, but I mean, again, I wasn't disappointed by any means
No,
in the
no.
racing. Just thought it would be supported a little bit better than
Yeah.
that.
Um, any other thoughts from this on Friday night?
Yeah.
Just,
We'll keep
I
this moving
just
along.
keep it moving along.
Great
I
job,
just got
Selinsgrove. Was happy to
yeah,
be up
great job.
there. I appreciate them having me up. Certainly don't, they don't have to welcome a WRT guy up there, but they did, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, and keep up the surface has been phenomenal. Every time I've gone there especially the past 2 years, but especially this year, it's been fantastic. So keep up the great work. All right. Saturday night, Clinton County. This was another good one. 36 cars signed in for this one. Justin Whittle from 8th to 1st wins this one over Ryan Smith, Cam Smith, Tyler Ross, Brett Strickler, JT Ferry, AJ Flick, Billy Dietrich, Lucas Wolf, and Mark Smith, who was your hard charger, plus 12, 22nd to 10th. Brett Strickler, quick time for the night. And your heat race winners were Tyler Ross, Mikey Thompson, Justin Whittle, and Billy Dietrich. Justin Whittle, just literally the definition of tops up here. He was the only guy up there all night. Yeah, all night, just ripping that top. And it just, he was fast at his time, like in his heat, his time trial. And then he did it again in the feature. And just got around cars up top. And uh, man, he just looked really, really fast. There was some really, really good battles throughout the field. Brett Strickler and Freddie Raymer had a really good battle for a while until Freddie broke. Cam Smith and Ryan Smith as they were fighting through lap traffic. But once Justin Whittle got out, he was just, you could just see all night. He was the fastest guy all night.
Yeah, watching the highlights there, I unfortunately wasn't able to make this one, but man, watching the highlights, he like that place is pretty dark and it's hard to see the edge, but he found it and it worked, and it was the only one. And man, that car was so fast up there. It was like the bottom always typically ends up the place to be, but he made that top work all night. And like I said, that car's fast right now. They got some things working in their favor. Um, it's definitely good. Excuse me. Ryan Smith moving forward, no surprise. Cameron Smith made a post today. They really worked on some things in 69, got a good feel for that car.
Yeah,
He
he learned a
struggled the
lot of
last
this
time he was
race.
in that at Lincoln, led the beginning of this deal. Tyler Ross was good there late, but our boy Brett Strickler, I made a comment. He posted about being quick time, and I said, you and people just think he's an asphalt iRacer. This guy, he can also race on dirt a little bit. So, I don't know if he posted his GoPro video online at all, but man, if you think you're listening to this and you think you could be a race car driver, go watch the GoPro of Brett and Freddie battling and tell me you didn't go, holy shit, if you see it. If it gets
I
out there, I
was
don't know
up
if
in the
it's out there or
stands.
not. I don't know if he posted it online, buddy. I'm telling you, like, you, you wouldn't do that in your passenger car on route on a highway. Like, it was insane. Um, I was just like, man, and it happened so fast. What was it like? You just watch the video of it, and it's crazy. So JT Ferry, career best 6th place finish, looked really good. Almost got by
Looked good all
Brett
night.
there at the end in his highlights. AJ Flick passing race cars, no surprise.
And congratulations to AJ, by the way, another Lernerville track title that he wrapped up the night before.
I got a message that the Whitall, the 67, was a brand new car this weekend. So a win and a podium. He
Nice.
got third at Selinsgrove. So
Yep.
it must be a good one. Must be a good one.
Yeah.
But he wasn't but I will say this, at intermission, he was not the car that I saw with the simple green bottle and prepping their tires. It was not him. It was not his pit. So I I won't name any names.
A couple other names I want to shout out here. Dominic Malaire looked really good. He had to come from the B main 21st to 11th. Matt Tebbs, I believe he's a 305 driver that runs up there. Had a 410 in for this one. He
And
goes
it's his
20.
third one this year.
Yeah.
He's been at all of them.
24th to 13th plus 11. Listen, to get into the feature though, he had to go from 12th in the B main, make a last lap pass on Jordan Givler and somebody else. It was a 3-car battle right at the line to get that last spot, to just get 4th in the B main to transfer to the feature. And then he charges his way up to 13th. Super impressive by him. He had a little bit of that is from attrition. Don't get me wrong, because there was a couple wrecks, but I mean he did a fantastic job all night.
Put meat on him. Matt Tebbs. Look at that.
Lance DeWeese here was another one that was impressive. I know his 16th place finish isn't, but man, he was coming through the field. He got up to right behind Strickler for about 4th, 5th place. And then I think him and Buddy Schwabens got together. I didn't see what happened, but they got turned around in turn 1. He ends up coming back out, being able to rejoin the field and getting back up to 16th. As there wasn't that many DNFs. There's only like 3 or 4 cars, maybe. Yeah, just the 4. Buckwalter, Franek, and then Raymer, and then obviously Schwabens after they got together. But he was able to make his way back up and look pretty decent. But he looked really good for most of the night there. He also looked pretty decent at sporty at Selinsgrove, but he had a tire explode. That thing was loud. I heard that in turn 1, and I didn't think it was a tire. I thought it was a bomb going off.
Crazy.
All in all, fantastic night at Clinton County. Great car count, especially in comparison to, what was it, 17 or 16 cars earlier in the year when the Posse Series went there during Eldora. And to get 36 cars on Saturday was fantastic. And yeah, just huge shout out, obviously to Whittle, but also to our boy Brett Stricker. What a great night. That's his first time there, right? I mean, he's never been there before. Yeah. So
he was asking about gears in a group chat. Like he didn't even
didn't even know.
How do you
yeah.
Or how do you tie your shoes to go to Clinton County? Like we don't have a clue,
Yeah.
Did a great job.
The surface seemed better than maybe what it was earlier in the year. There was still a little bit of choppiness going into 1, and right in the middle of 3 and 4, and it was like from the middle on to about the bottom, there's a little bumpy. But if you ran above it, you were good. And that's what Justin Whittle, I think, showed. If you're able to stick it up there, man, you could make a shit ton of time. And that's what he did all night.
Same thing it's been all year. Though every time I've been up there, it's the same shit. Entry to 1 in the middle of 3 and 4. I don't understand how a place. I don't understand the dynamics of why that's happening there every time. I don't. It's not the sprint cars. I don't think there's nothing different. They're not doing anything different. I don't know. I don't remember seeing it in the past. I don't know what changed this year. And like usually there's some sort of like, there's a natural spring at Williams Grove, the hole in 3, and there's reasons like. In 1 at Lincoln, water runs down under the wall into entry to 1. That's why we get a hole there sometimes. Like, why haven't they fixed these holes? I don't understand it. I don't know. Man, maybe I don't talk about or think about Clinton County enough, but every time I've been there, it's been the same things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what's going on up there with that. But
I didn't think it was that bad. Like,
you could see it upsetting the cars. I mean,
yeah,
you could see it on the video how much it was upsetting the cars getting in there. And it wasn't as extreme as maybe the other 2 times, but it's still there. Why do we have multiple things at the same places?
They did take some time before the heats to go out and run it in, and it seemed to be a little bit better.
Sheep's-footed, I bet.
Yeah, they did.
They love that damn sheep's foot up there.
I think they also had 36 4-cylinders there, and a decent. I think it was like 9 or 10 pro stocks or something like that. And I think they ended up bringing a lot of the moisture back up from the track. It seemed like it was wetter after they ran, and they had to get it run back in a little bit. So I don't know if that's part of it or what, but um, I thought it gave it a little bit of character. You know, for me as a fan, it was fun. You saw a lot of passing, a lot of side by side racing. It was tight. I'm sure maybe the drivers maybe didn't like it as much, but
Those pro
overall,
stocks
I
are
think it
fun
was
up
good.
there. They're almost too big for that
Yeah,
place, but they're fun to watch. They kind of
yeah,
rip around there pretty good, a couple of those
yeah.
guys.
But overall, good night at Clinton County. They only have 2 more Fridays left. That's Friday and next Friday, and their season is over. I was looking at their schedule early. I'm like, oh man, we're already at that point where seasons are wrapping up, man. Um, Robert Jones says, "Hey Jimmy, we like Steve Buckwalter. Awesome. Cheers to you guys. We like Steve
He
Buckwalter
got
too.
24th here in this one.
Unfortunately, he got spun out. Um,
I like Steve Buckwalter too. I like that. I like that. They're good people. They're good people.
Just quick look at the PA Posse Series points. Chase Dietz is still in the lead because something I guess we could talk about real quick with Clinton County is Troy Wagaman did fail to qualify for the feature after probably making up some ground, with the win the night before. But Troy's 13 points behind in second place behind Chase Dietz. Then it's Justin Whittle, that is 70 points back. Lance Deweese, 85 points back. Then 130 points back to fifth place, Ryan Smith. Then it's Danny Dietrich, Freddie Raymer, Cam Smith, TJ Stutz, and Austin Bishop, your top 10 right now in Posse Series points. Knoxville, real quick. We're just going to go through real quick on this one, talk about some of the main storylines. But your prelim winners, Sheldon Hodenshield, he ended up on night one over Jace McFadden, Jace Park. What a finish to this one. At the
Banger.
line, it was McFadden and Jace Park. Jace Park led a lot of this race. It looked like McFadden was going to get him in the final corner. They caught some lap traffic, and then they both washed up. And here comes Sheldon Hodenshield, just able to stick the bottom and get them both at the line, 2 for 1 in turn 4. Pretty incredible. Chase Dietz finishes 5th in this one, and then your high point guy. No, I'm sorry. Your quick time for the night, and your second highest point guy from this night was Casey Kane, who finished 8th. Really impressive showing by him. Thursday night, Kyle Larson is inevitable. 8th to 1st, getting the win. Brent Marks with a solid 3rd place from 11th. But Kyle Larson ends up being overall the overall point leader. Was going to start on the pole for Saturday, and then we all knew, hey, NASCAR's racing Saturday night at the same time. Not going to be able to do it. We talked about it a little bit last week on the show, and we knew it was going to be a big conversation point once more people started to realize it. And then we end up seeing why he did it, and he even called everybody out. So you get all this rain. Friday night gets completely washed out. They changed the entire format, which I wasn't really a fan of. The way they did the Hard Knocks thing on Saturday afternoon. Basically, if you won Hard Knocks, which Donnie Schatz did do, congratulations to Donnie winning a feature. Ends up starting 11th in the C main in a track that's so heavy because of all the rain. You're not really going to go anywhere. Hard wreck in that one too. Brenham Crouch and Gio Scelzi. After Gio Scelzi gets up in the wall, Brenham Crouch crashes it behind him. The frame gets completely bent, and Brenham Crouch has a broken arm, and I'm not sure he was being evaluated for any head injuries. But he's going to be out of the car for a while because of it. But with all the rain, there was more rain after Hard Knocks. Delayed everything. All of a sudden, it's 10:30 Eastern time. NASCAR is ready to wrap up, and Knoxville hasn't even did hot laps yet. So he gets on. They got a contingency plan. They got him on a plane. He gets there, doesn't get any hot laps, gets right in during the B main. Police escort and all. The most tracked plane in the world at that point was Kyle Larson's jet. And he goes and leads all 50 laps. Once again, here at Knoxville and wins it over Sheldon Haudenschild, Casey Kane, James McFadden, and Logan Schuchart, your top 5. David Gravel, Buddy Kofoid, Parker Price Miller, Brett Marks, and Chase Dietz, top 10. Great showing by Chase Dietz at Knoxville, where in the past he hasn't been, he's been very up and down, mostly down there. But he showed so much speed, really taking that momentum that he's built all year, and great showing at Knoxville with a top 10 finish and a great first night as well. Just great week for him. Kyle Larson, though, I don't know where we want to start with that. I tried to just recap it all, but it's got to start and end with Kyle Larson. Able to get there, winning this thing at 2:30 in the morning Eastern time. Wild turn of events for him to even get there. Fast track, sure, but he earned that pole spot. He was gone. I mean, just nobody was going to touch him.
Yeah. So, like, I cannot stress this enough when I can't possibly laugh harder and make fun of the people more that bitched about him taking a spot because it's not fair. And it's the first car that didn't make it, from the B, the first car out. It's not fair to them. The bleeding hearts, and oh my God, it's not fair that a guy earned the spot and he can't make it. He should have just not done it at all and just, fucked off
Crazy.
into eternity. I'm so exhausted by it. Like, really? Not fair? This is a meritocracy. The racing is a meritocracy. The best one wins. You earned it. You don't get medals for finishing ninth. You don't get trophies for finishing ninth. This isn't a participation award. This guy earned it. Weather is weather. Clearly, Knoxville got effed all weekend. You don't know this 6 months ahead of time. You don't know what could happen. Richmond, it could have rained on the East Coast all weekend. It could have been till Sunday, Monday. Who knows? This is why they didn't go, well, it wouldn't be fair to the competitor that finished, fifth in the B. It's not fair to that guy. Grow up. This is why he did it. This is why he did it. He went and kicked all your asses all week, everybody, because he can. Deal with it. Okay. He's an alien. I'm over. Like, I can't laugh at those people more. That complaint. I just can't. It's not possible for me to laugh harder in their face than I want to right now. Now, the next thing, he's an alien. There's very few we ever have and ever will see like it again in our lifetime. So the people that don't like this guy or think he's bad for it or tired of seeing it,
Appreciate it.
you're going to look back someday and you're going to tell somebody that about Kyle Larson in a way that's like a positive way. You're going to tell someone someday that you remember watching it. And I hope that you also in the back of your mind remember how much you hated and shit on this guy. Because if you're not a fan, because he wins or he beats your favorite driver. He beat my favorite driver, but this guy's a freaking alien. Like, he does things in a race car. I don't care that he wrecks someone now and then. I don't care that he makes a mistake now and then. He drives harder than your favorite driver. He's better than your favorite driver, and he does it with way less effort than your favorite driver. He's an alien, and it isn't fair to everyone else in a way. Like, and I'm not telling you, I don't own a piece of Kyle Larson merchandise. I'm not going to buy any of it. I don't really I don't root for the guy to go win from 18th or I don't, but I witness it and I watch it and I can appreciate the talent this guy has and with just showing up, just shows up and gets after it. So I don't know, man. Like, again, it's just one of those things where I'm glad I'm old enough and mature enough and enough of an adult to appreciate it, because I don't know if I would have in my younger days, maybe, right? Like, I'm not sure how I would have handled it, but I'm glad I got to witness it at the age I'm at, because there's nothing, can't compare it to anything. Like, we can't, he doesn't even he's a guy that, I always think about hard work and understanding the race car and being able to put them together and build them and do all these things. He is none of that.
Mhm.
Like, for people to maybe not like that is crazy to me because would it be the way I would choose to do it? No, I think I'd like I'm a person who wants to understand these things. Like I want to know it. He is just absolutely so naturally talented. Doesn't know the hard parts. He doesn't know what the changes are. He doesn't even ask. He just gets in and drives the race car. There's very few in our lifetimes or any beyond or after that are like this. And it's special. It's special. The last topic is Knoxville sucks on Knoxville Nationals night because we haven't seen a pass
Yes.
for the lead in over 200 laps.
Yes.
Now, that's been a hot topic, and I really want to be like
I'll give
buying
him a
into
little bit of a
this,
pass on this one. Just the way
but I want to
a
buy
little
into
bit.
that and be like, this sucks, and I hate that. But the format says Ryan Timms last year was the best car by a lot, and he earned the pole and he won.
Yep.
Kyle Larson did it too.
Yep.
It was a good race car. It wasn't like I don't want to use a name and like disparage someone. It wasn't like this no-name nobody who hasn't raced at Knoxville and because he time trialed well and a good draw and had a good week and then he went and led 50 laps like out of nowhere. We don't really last year Ryan Timms was the biggest upset we've had in Knoxville in a long time, and it really shouldn't have been an upset because of his laps there. He did his job. Kyle, like, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that at Knoxville. It's a special place. It's a special race, and they make it hard on purpose. So if you've earned this spot and you go kick their ass for 50 laps, you've earned it.
Something with Knoxville Nationals and Chili Bowl falls into this category too. It's the best racing that you're going to see is all the lead up to that main. All because of the way the format is, and Chili Bowl obviously, and also the shootout. Man, I mean, you got days and days of qualifying, and you have multiple days here at Knoxville qualifying, and with the big invert, you have to come from 8th and all that. And when it gets to this, it's everything's sorted out. Who was the best all week? You're going to line straight up based off the points. And sometimes, they're not banger features, I guess. And I wouldn't even say that they're not just because there isn't a pass for the lead. Like, there's good racing all over. There was still passing here. Look at Logan Schuart, 12th to 5th. Chase Dietz was up to 5th at one point before the break. He does fall back to 10th. Tanner Holmes, 24th to 11th. Carson Macedo was also up into the top 10 before he went kablooey. So there was passing. You just had to know where to run. It was tough. It was fast. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like all the hype and all the build up to this was all the qualifying and all that build up to this. And sometimes it's easy to get let down because there's so much build up, I guess. But really, it's lined up. The best cars there all week were lined up in order, essentially.
Go watch Kyle's heat race and tell me that he didn't earn it. Time
Yeah,
trials and tell me
exactly.
he didn't earn
Yeah.
it. The preliminary feature and go tell me he didn't earn it. He earned it. And it rained and it was perfect for him.
The same people that will complain about, no lead changes in 200 laps and not a lot of passing or whatever, are the same ones that'll complain about the format. But it's not fair because they didn't give these people their fair shot like they should have, and run.
It's not fair. My favorite driver timed well and then had to get inverted to 8th in the heat.
Go
and
be
then had to run
better.
a B main.
Go be better.
Oh, it's not fair. Like,
you got to go be
it's not
better on your
fair.
first night. The hard knocks is a second chance, but it shouldn't be guaranteed. So I don't know. I thought it was a pretty good week all around. They had a huge hill, like the amount of rain that they got, just for them to get as much as they did in and have as good of a surface and racing as they did. Saturday wasn't great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it was very muddy, but it wasn't bad either. They were able to get everything in, and I understand why. I mean, you have probably a lot of people that book flights out of there on Sunday and stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to push it to Sunday if you don't have to. And it did get pushed to Sunday, just Sunday morning.
Am I allowed to also be a hypocrite though?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
A little bit. Am
Let
I
do
allowed to
whatever
be?
you want.
Because my favorite driver's week the way it went, right? So go back and look at Casey Kane's prelim. He went 8th to 8th in the feature, right?
Mm-hmm.
In his prelim, 8th to 8th. Okay.
Yep.
Locks himself into the A main at the front of the A main with an 8th to 8th. Didn't have to pass a race car. 25 laps, didn't pass a single car. But quick time by himself, 2 laps, got him 8th to 8th to start at the front of the Knoxville Nationals. Brent
He also
Marks
went 8th
went
to
out
4th in his heat.
8th to, I'm sorry, yep, 8th to 4th, passed 4 cars. So he passed 4 cars in his entire preliminary night and is locked to the front of the A main.
Yep.
Brent goes out late, times 24th, right? Go look at the heat race. Passed 4th to 1st. Just saw it in his heat. You passed it. He went 4th to 1st, okay? And then went 11th to 3rd in the A main. So there's 3 cars plus those 8. That's 11 cars. He's not locked in the A main of the Knoxville Nationals.
Not until they
Because
changed
that
the
there's
hard knocks.
because those 2 laps, well, yeah, then he ended up big. But because those 2 laps are equally as important as passing race cars, he wasn't locked in. Pulling 4th to 1st in the heat and 11th to 3rd in an actual A main for 25 laps. The time trial with 40, 50 cars in a group in one at a time, 2 at a time, is equally as important as both of those other events. I don't love that in this particular case because Casey Kane passed 4 cars the entire night, but 2 good laps locks him to the front of the Knoxville Nationals.
He still had to go. He still had to go and get himself into the
past 4 cars in a heat.
feature. Yeah,
and then didn't pass a car in those 25 laps. So I don't know. I just think it's rare instances where that happens, but it forced Brent to pass 4th to 1st and then 11th to 3rd and still not even be locked in, right? In a preliminary A main where Casey was 8th to 8th after 25 laps, didn't pass a single race car. So it's all about the time trial. The time trial is arguably more important than the racing on a prelim night.
I don't think it is. I think it sets
8th
you
to
up.
4th in a heat. 8th to 4th in a heat.
It sets you up, and then you have to still go. You still have to go do your job and get. Because if Casey doesn't get himself into that feature, he's fucked. He's not. He's
technically,
not.
He only had to pass 3. He passed 4 cars. He only had to pass 3, right? It was top 5 to make it to the A.
Top 4 made it to the A.
It was only 4.
Yeah.
4 because it was 5 heats.
So you had to go 8th
So
to 4.
he was the last car to transfer to the feature. Got an 8th place start. Didn't pass a race car. Had to pass those 4 cars, but so did Brent. Brent passed 3. But again, the time trial, the 2 laps because of a bad draw, killed his. What was he going to do any better? Even if he went 11th to 1st in the A main, he still may not have locked into the Knoxville Nationals. Going 4th to 1st in the heat and 11th to 1st in an A, still may not have locked in because of the 2 laps earlier in the night, because of a bad draw. And the track, if you looked at the draw, there was very few cars. And the way this track went in both nights, there was not many cars at the end of the night, at the end of the time trial run, that could get up high enough to make an impact in their night. So, again, I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite.
He went out last and went and got himself almost into the top 10 in time trials, and he locked himself into the feature.
Oh, in the first night. Yep, the first night.
Yeah, and he went out last in time trials.
So the second night was because I think Reitzel ended up 27th.
Yeah, he was way out.
Time trials.
He was way out. Him, Ryan Timms,
he went right in front of
Brett.
Brett. Yeah,
it's the most important time trial all year, for sure.
For sure. And I just don't know if I love that it's the exact same point value in the time trial rundown as it is in a heat and a feature. It just seems odd that is equal. I don't care about the invert. I don't care about the prelim night, the hard knocks. I think it does make you earn it. But if a draw matters that much, depending on the surface, right? Group A, because the 2 nights were very different in the time trials. I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, it's not going to change, and that's okay. But it just seems like the racing against other cars is equally as important as 2 laps on your own based on a draw. I don't know. Don't love it.
I don't know if it's
don't
just
love
based
it in
on
every
draw,
case
because you
Sure
have
it
to
is.
go out in time. You have to go out in time, and you could go out in time almost at any point. I mean, they keep that track pretty decent. It's still fast. Everybody has to deal with it. Everybody has to deal with the same thing. So I don't know. The only thing I would change about the format is I agree if you pass more cars and you have, I would do a plus minus bonus. So you get a point for every position you gained, and then you lose a point for every position you lost, and that can maybe even it out a little bit because then when somebody goes from first to fourth, it's a little bit more of a hit, So I don't know. That's the only thing I would probably change about it. Other than that, I think the format's
Well,
fine. It's
first to
how it
fourth
always
though, they
is.
were on first to fourth. They're starting on the pole because they didn't time trial. They just made the
And then
invert,
lose 3
right? So
points. Yeah.
they're buried kind of anyway. But
But
like
they
in
still make the
Casey's,
feature that night.
they make the feature. But like in Casey's, right? He went 8th to 8th. He was a +0 in
Right.
that 25 lap deal. Brent would have been a +8,
Right.
right? So
Right.
like, yeah, I agree with you in that case. In the feature, in the heat, I don't know if it's plus minus in the heat because you do have a transfer, right? You have an automatic transfer.
Yeah.
But maybe in the feature, I could see because I don't know
But
if doubling up is the
those
right
guys that have to
way.
go that because it is hard to pass, it can be hard to pass. And you go from 8th to 5th and just miss out. Yeah, you're going to go start on the front row of the B, and now you have a chance to go get more points in the back. Then you start running into now a guy who had to come from the B main, and they work their way up into the top 10 in the feature. Now you're going to have more points than a guy that
Now they're jumping,
that
right?
started like Kyle Larson,
Yeah.
who was quick time, ends up getting into his transferring through his heat, starts 8th, gets the win in the prelim. He should be top point guy, not
Yes.
a guy that went from
Yeah.
24th to 10th either. So I get
24th
it.
to 6th or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, again, I'm being hypocritical because it just happened to be the way the scenario fell. It wasn't even a bad time, but that day 2 time trial order, like I said, when Aaron Reitzel can't really jump a bunch of people where he went out, the track just kind of leveled off, right? Night 1 and night 2 were a little bit different that way. I mean, there was someone else in that group that second day prelim that didn't time well. Was it
It was Tim's.
Gio?
Tim's
Oh,
yeah,
Ryan
Gio
Timms
was
was with
bad.
him.
Yeah, Ryan Timms
Yeah.
was Ryan Timms the first night? Yeah, Ryan Timms was the first night. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, there was someone else right around that Brent
Carson Macedo,
Reitzel.
32nd.
Yes, maybe it was
Reitzel was
Macedo versus
29th.
Reitzel.
Brent was 23rd.
23rd, yeah. Yeah, a couple of those guys went right out about the same time as Brent did. And it just kind of leveled off. Like for Brent actually going out where he did, probably lucky he didn't get 30th. Like he did a pretty good darn lap. The car was pretty darn good. But if you go looking like where the draw was and where the guys ended up timing, there wasn't as many jumps like there was in night 1. But again, the
he went
track
out
is the track.
47th.
It's all the same.
He went out
Yeah.
47th, went 23rd. Guys in
There's
front
a
of him.
44th to 18th. Garrett was pretty good.
Garrett Williamson went what she is good there. Austin McCarl was 39th, went 16th. But
And there's a
Brent
lot of
was the
20s.
highest, the latest.
Yeah. So it fell off and it was equal, fell off. It was a pretty equal fall off, but it didn't, I don't think it held as like on group. So go to the first day now. How many of those guys, curious now that we're talking about it, there's a 40. Oh, sorry. We're getting up
So
there.
Casey was
So
first.
22,
22nd,
25.
25. But Sheldon
There's
Hanshu went out
37.
37th,
Yeah.
38.
There, 37, 38,
39.
39,
Chase Dietz
47.
went out dead last, 14th.
Yeah. So like there were some guys in the 20s, in the 30s and 40s that were able to jump inside the top 15. That day 2, you didn't have that. And there were some good cars there, right? So you see a lot of 20s in that top 15. So the track was a little bit different that night. And again, everybody knows the format going in. Everybody gets it. And again, I'm not saying it was unfair because I just got done talking about being fair. They all had that blah, blah, blah. But did they all have the same racetrack? Yeah, they were in Knoxville. They were in turn 1, 2, 3, and 4. But did they have the same racetrack as equal as the other guys in front of them? Whereas in their heat and feature, they literally had the same racetrack as their competitors. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a weird scenario. I don't think happens often, but there's always a few anomalies like that you see every year that you're like,
yeah, there's one or two guys in there that are kind of like, did they really do anything to be locked into the top 10?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Casey Kane's the perfect example for me. He did his job in his heat because he set himself up to do that. But going 8th to 8th in a feature against your competition is not scream, I'm going to start in the front row or front 2 rows of a Knoxville Nationals. It just, again, not knocking Casey, great for him. I'm thrilled for him. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's just a weird scenario. Anyway, I yapped enough about that.
Couple comments here. There was a couple good ones. Tyler Murray said, "Shout out to Ryan Tibbs, committed crew member. Still can't believe that was allowed." Yeah, I think
Dude,
you
that
gotta.
video, did you see the video from the camera that's inside the car of him?
No.
Like they had a GoPro
Oh
and you
yeah,
could
I did.
see
I
him,
saw that one.
and
Yeah.
then phew, there he goes. Oh, dude, it's straight comedy. It's the greatest thing I've seen. Awesome, because he chose to do it. Like,
Yeah.
F around and find out, fella. It was great.
I think it's one of those things that's kind of like the Hail Melon, where it happened, but there's probably going to be a rule against it and not happen again. Oh,
There
look
he
at
is.
that.
There's
Due to
my
the
buddy.
show.
There he is. This is Bandit,
Oh.
the Black Bandit. What's he doing?
Oh, he's cute.
You want to bed? It's his bedtime. That's my little guy.
Jay-Z a dog dad now.
Yeah. Yeah, I needed to. That's what I needed to be. I needed to have another kid. Now it's all blurry.
But yeah, the Ryan Tibbs crew member thing, I don't think you ever see them let them do something like that again. As cool as it was, that was pretty dangerous. I know that they're trying to hurry up and do everything timely, but God forbid he got his leg ran over or something, and then we're sitting there for a medical emergency inside the infield for half an hour. Wouldn't have made it any better. So I don't know. It was really, really cool, but like I said, I doubt you ever see that again.
Yeah.
Crouch injury. Darren Pittman was pretty good. The 69K, they looked pretty impressive. They went backwards in the main, but all week they had some speed. He locked himself into the feature as well, along with Chase Dietz was so impressive. I think my most impressive though, and maybe I shouldn't have been. It was kind of tied with two guys, Sheldon Hanshield and Logan Schuhart. Man, Logan Schuhart was just passing cars all week, and if he could just time trial a little bit better, man, who knows? But Sheldon, if Larson doesn't show up, and he said it in the post race thing. I watched that post race press conference, and he was like, I'm happy Kyle was here because I wouldn't want to win that way. I'd want the best to be here. I'd want to be the best. I don't want that asterisk next to it, if I were to win, so, but he was just as bit as fast as Larson was. I think it's just, timely cautions and not being able to catch lap track. I mean, Larson lapped up to Rico Abreu, past him
Insane.
at one point. And he was on rails. So, yeah, just but those were two guys that really stuck out to me.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot. Yeah, we're good. I'm good on Knoxville. It's over.
One other thing, it happened after we went off the air last Monday was Kyle Larson and Ryan Timms getting into it at Oski. Right, Larson threw a pretty aggressive slider in 3 and 4, hit Ryan Timms' nose. Ryan Timms and car owner were not happy. A lot of words were said, a lot of good sound bites. A new rivalry is born. Didn't really get to see any of it out on the rest of the track at Knoxville because they ran different nights, and then Ryan Timms didn't even make the feature due to having some bad luck there, obviously with the mechanical issues and stuff. But to be continued, I guess, with those two guys. That's Larson's last sprint car race for the year, so this will have to get a pin in it to 2027.
And I honestly, I think it was mostly over the next night when Timms was like, "Yeah, I was mad, but blah blah blah." Like the sound bites were great. I mean, it carried over for the next couple days all the way to Knoxville when Larson called himself Chinese or Japanese or something on pre-race shows, and like he had trouble seeing the track because his eyes are closed. Like
His eyes are slant.
I mean, the sound bites were amazing, and
Yeah, it was funny.
like Ryan Timms getting out and just calling him just flat out he's a piece of shit was amazing. And
yeah, I didn't expect
again,
that from him.
and it's fun like not having like I don't care either way for either one or what like I watched what happened, but like it felt cool to be impartial about it and just smile. Like this is that's entertainment. Like I'm here for it and not be emotionally involved either way. Like one was wrong, one was right. Just that there was straight up emotion about it. I'm here for it. And we need it, and we need it. We need rivalries. We need some of this stuff, not fake and fabricated, but like emotions, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sprint car racing can still have it, and I'm here for it. And we need it because it's what NASCAR won't give us. Those guys are so sponsor vanilla, boring, no personality, while the TV cameras are rolling, and we can have this here, and this was great.
Yeah. Yeah. All in all, pretty good Knoxville week. That until the end, with the
They did the
rain.
best with what they had.
Yeah. But even up until then, up until Friday, I mean, those two prelim nights were awesome. Especially Friday night, or I'm sorry, Wednesday night was fantastic. That's an all time finish with Hot and Shield, and the racing was good all night there. So, pretty good all around. Let's look ahead. Friday night, Jack Gunn Memorial, presented by Tires on Netflix at Williams Grove. This will be a PA Posse Series race. $8,000 to win. Also, the Sportsman Showdown with both the wing and wingless sportsmen. Twin 20s for those guys. Pretty good show here on Friday night. A good 3-division show, and a pretty good payday with the Posse Series. It'll be PA Speed Week format, it looks like. $30 to get in. Is there something else going on with this too? No, I don't think there was. But pretty should be, looks like decent weather right now. It's gonna get cooler. Luckily, it's gonna start getting cooler, I guess, but it's gonna be like it won't even hit 80 degrees, it looks like, later this week. So hopefully the weather holds out and they get this one in, and I expect a good turnout for this. y- uh, They used to. I'm excited to see the sportsman deal that they do with this is always pretty cool too. It's a nice little added bonus.
So number one, I have to say I've been watching the series of Tires. I'm down to, like, I got all but one of them watched already. It's great. I love it. Shane Gillis is great. Um, and it's like it's in Philly. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
they talk about Sheets in one episode about being on a commercial and for Sheets. But anyway, uh, this is one of my favorites because the wingless sportsmen are great. I love them. We've got 410s, but the wing sportsman at Williams Grove, um, if you haven't seen it and you haven't been in a long time and you haven't seen these cars, you want to talk about, when we talk about 410s carrying the right front down the straightaways, you want to see what cars really do it down the backstretch under the bridge, and you see a wing super sportsman carry the right front about 3 feet in the air down the straightaways. This is the race you want to go to and watch it because it's awesome. I'm the wing sportsman at Williams Grove. I wish there was more of, and I know, like, I get it, but it's cool. It's fun. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. I don't know if I'm gonna go, but I'll definitely be tuned in. Um, um, yeah. So if you can get there for sure. If not, catch it on Dirt Vision. I'm going to the wrong monitor here. Saturday, another PA Posse Series race at Port Royal Speedway, where it's the Living Legends Dream Race. This one is 20,000 to win. Yeah, it's 20,000 to win on Saturday night. So I expect a pretty good turnout for this one as well. You also got super late models, pretty good uh, 2-division
Card.
show. Yeah, good card. It's also back to school night. $30 to get in. Also could catch it on Flow Racing. Being honored for this Living Legend Stream race will be Davy Brown Sr., Donnie Kreitz Jr., and Tom Peck. So those will be the 3 honorees this year. Should be pretty cool. This is always a really cool race. Do they? I don't know. I have to look here. Read their thing. Usually they do like twin 20s. Like they usually do like a dual format where they will invert. I'm not sure if that's how they're
This is
doing it.
Posse Series race. You're not doing that.
Yeah, you're not doing that. I don't think so. That would be one thing I do miss if they can't do that. I don't see anything in their press release about the format. So, but if it's just, but either way, it's still going to be a good turnout of cars, I think. Lincoln will be dark again. Since it is a Posse Series show, so these are the only 2 shows in town this week. So definitely go and support them. And also, real quick, BAPS has a Summer Series 358 race on Saturday night as well. So 358s are at least racing this week, Saturday at BAPS. But the Living Legends Dream Race, I'm really excited for. I always end up missing it for some reason, and I think I'm gonna be able to get there this year. So we'll see. And Super Late Models, haven't seen Super Late Models there in a little bit. So 2 really good shows at good 3-division show at Williamsgrove on Friday night, and then you got the Living Legends Dream Race, $20,000 to win on Saturday.
And Lincoln has motocross, I'm told.
Oh yeah, they have the arena cross thing. Yeah. Yeah, that's their first one, isn't it? They have like 1 or 2. They have like 2 or 3 of them.
I think they had like a couple practiced or something, but I think it's the first one. Yeah.
So some good shows here. The World of Outlaws are back on the road. They will be up in Minnesota this weekend. Friday night they'll be at Ogilvie Raceway in Minnesota, and then they go to Jackson Motorplex on a Saturday. And then High Limit.
Ain't no way that's there. Whoa. Go back. There's no way that's called the Fence Showdown.
Oh, it's the Fence Showdown.
Oh my God.
There's a D in there, but I think the D silent, so it's the Fence Showdown. And then the other one, it's Friday night's the Big O Showdown.
The Big O Showdown.
Are you the Big O with some?
What is going on, bro? What? I want the logo. I want to see the logo for both of these. I want to see the official race logos.
Let's see. Sometimes they have it. It just they just call it the Big O.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they have one.
Oh my God. The Outlaws
Jackson.
Yeah. Never let us down. Week to week. This is like my new thing now. I hope they continue this forever. It's so corny and cheesy, but like I'm here for it. If they can create this and make it their own, the dumbest names they can come up with for every race, I'm here for it.
The Big O Showdown.
Bro. I'm gonna show her my O face. Oh.
And then High Limit, they go and start already on Thursday. They get right back to it. They don't really have a lot of downtime here. Santa Maria Speedway in California on Thursday, Friday night Thunder Bowl, and then Saturday they'll go to Placerville, and then it's Silver Dollar Speedway the weekend after for the Gold Cup. So
I don't know much about that Santa Maria Speedway. I'm gonna have to look that one up. I don't know a whole lot about that one.
We'll have to ask Brett
check out some
because
YouTube videos
he's like
or something.
California. He's like our California track expert now.
He should be our California correspondent. Been there once. He loves California.
But yeah, they have a couple weeks in California. Then they go up to Skagit for the Skagit Nationals, and then we're talking Tusky 50, not too far away. So still a lot of racing here. It always feels like, after Knoxville, you have a couple big ones. It starts to slow down a little bit, kind of take a breath now a little bit, but not for these touring guys, man. I mean, they're still going west. They're still racing 3 times a week. But for us here at home, it gets a little bit more simple, I think. We're not doing 3-4 nights a week for the most part. You know what I mean? It's a lot of Posse Series races, where it's just, hey, it's one show in town for that night. So for the rest of the way, a lot of Lincoln shows coming up, in the fall here, and some BAPS ones as well, and a couple other places. But I think, yeah, this weekend, the Living Legends Dream Race, and then the Labor Day Classic. Those are the last 2 Posse Series races at Port Royal. So, and then Williamsgrove has a Posse Series race this week and next Friday as well. So, yeah, that's really it for this weekend, and I'm excited for. I like this time of the year. I know it's like, I just think maybe because, like I said, it's been so go. You have so many races now. Kind of slows down. It gets a little more simple, and it's like, hey, I know where I'm going to go this weekend. You know what I mean? Just kind of, not having to. Yeah, I got to worry about Wednesday and Thursday races too much, from here on out. So there'll be some. Don't get me wrong, but
it gets into a little bit of a traditional rhythm for us.
Yeah,
but at this point, it's all roads lead to the Tusky, dude. Like, it's coming. Fair Week, Tusky. It ain't far away for us, and we're gonna have. It's gonna be an all timer this year, I think, for the Tusky for us for our group. We got our buddies coming in from Minnesota. We
Yeah.
got some other buddies coming in from Ohio, Indiana that haven't been to Port Royal before.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. That's gonna be
Camping,
sick.
camping. I mean, it's going to be an all timer, I think. So
Can't wait.
I'm really looking forward to it this year. For some reason, I mean, I always do, but I'm really looking forward to the whole Tusky lead up, time to it because I'm kind of over the rest of it already a little bit, kind of. So yeah, no, I'm super excited for it. But yeah, some good racing here in the meantime. Some cool Williams Grove events coming up. The another 358 headliner at BAPS this weekend. Lincoln has some cool stuff coming up. Yeah, just some neat stuff coming all around for a lot of different divisions. But yeah, we're ready for it. So, are we gonna do drink it or dump it this week?
Yeah, we'll do drink it and dump it real quick. Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Man, these get harder and harder as like guys that we root for had on the show. It gets harder and harder to root for them, and I hate leaving them out.
Mhm.
Because I want to drink it to Austin Reed. I want to drink it
Yeah.
to our buddy Brett Strickler.
Fuck
I
yeah.
want to drink it to Troy Wagaman, and I want to dump
Mhm.
it to Troy Wagaman because right. So I took a lot of low hanging fruit there. Just we did mention some of those names before. What surprised me, but it didn't. Logan Rumsey wasn't at Selinsgrove. That's how much he hates it.
That's a shocker. I know. He loves
He
that
has
so much.
that's true hate in his heart, in his little ginger heart. That much hate for a racetrack he's never been at. No, I'm just kidding. He might have been on vacation. I don't really know. But no, I'll drink it and dump it to Troy. Both. I'll give him both. That's mine.
There you
That's
go.
my official.
My I was with you. There's a lot that we could do. Mine was I'll drink it definitely to Brett Strickler. I was cheering him on all night. He was super impressive at Clinton County. I'll also dump it to our Carmen Perigo. Got around in the
yeah.
wall in turn 1 and 2 on his time trial lap, and they had to scratch for tonight. I was excited because when you think of a track with some character, you think about a Perigo because they know how to get around places like that, and was excited to see what he can do, and ended up having to scratch. And it sounds like they might be kind of done with the wing car for the year. We'll see. I know they got I think they're going out to Springfield here next weekend and stuff like that. That's coming up, but yeah, just bummer for them. And I'll also drink it to Chase Dietz, man. What a great Knoxville Nationals for that team. Just continuing that momentum, backing up. It's one of those things where it's kind of like, yeah, he has all these wins, but people nationally are going to say, well, it's all in PA. Sure, but look at what he did out of Knoxville, man. I mean, he just super impressive. He has speed everywhere, and if they wanted to go out on tour, they would go out and get wins as well, just as much as the same as they are kicking ass here. So, super impressive for that team.
I think it just shows, honestly, like talking about that just shows that they can adapt and learn and get and it's all there, right? Chase
Yeah.
and I'll be honest, it's probably a combo, get the car a little better, but I think honestly it was Chase learning how to make speed at Knoxville. It's so different than anything that we do. The flat, the dirt, the visuals, the berm, just him learning how to make the car go fast. Like no matter what it's doing is how you make speed at that place. And I think you watched him learn in real time this week. And the 360 Nats were a disaster, all things considered.
Mhm.
Comes back in the 410, and seemed like they got better every time they hit the racetrack this time. So, again, like you said about like if they went on tour someday, you're going to get your teeth kicked in for a while. But once they get the notebook and go, okay, I remember. And Chase is a student. I know he is. He goes back, he sits down, he watches these races, he watches previous races, he watches in-car cameras. He is a student and he's doing it for a living and he takes it very seriously. They would adapt and become very competitive in no time, in a very short amount of time. I think the learning curve for someone like that could potentially be lower than some other guys who went out and got their ass kicked for an entire year or 2 or 3. and then figured it out. They're a team that seems like they could get it, half a season instead and start climbing those ranks, weekly, and then that next season, like, hey, we're going after it. So, yeah, I agree with you completely.
It looked like Tony Latorta was doing some doing a little recruiting, according to their social media. Tony
yeah?
Laporta was in there. He was in there hollering. And they they posted about they're doing a little bit of recruiting. Where's the World of Outlaw people at to try to recruit us? So I thought it was pretty. It was
I
during
heard
the rain
Tony
delay, I think, on
Laporta.
Friday. Oh, I said
I
Tony
heard Tony
Laporta first.
Laporta follows Tony Latorta
That's
on
great.
social
That's
media.
fantastic.
I heard that they know who each other are. So
let's. Oh, really? Oh.
I heard that they were talking about the Tony Latorta account on one of the pre-race shows and laughing about it. Like,
Drink it to all the burner accounts that are popping off, and there's a lot of them that have cropped up, like talked about recently. But they had a field day this past week with some of the stuff that happened. So,
and still no one has outright said, "I know this is Jay-Z." By the way, no one has outright gotten it correct.
Nobody's got it right yet.
Hidden and under wraps. No one has gotten it right. In passing, like, you could list them all and someone's going to get it right, but no one has said, "Hey, it's this one. I know it is," which means it's working. So,
Tony Latorta is so good, though. That one's a good one. I don't know who that is, but
dude, that was the
AI
first
going right.
That one and the Chase Dietz one were the two immediately people put my name against. And I'm like, I'm not that creative. They're good. Like, I'm not that creative to be that good at it. Like, the AI images, dude, of the Latorta account.
Oh, it's so good.
Dude, it is so fucking funny. Oh my God, it's so good, dude.
Let's get to a couple of your guys. Drink it and dump it. Dave Smeltzer, drink it to Chase Dietz, Stamen Motorsports for making the Knoxville Nationals, and dump it to all the bad wrecks this weekend. Yeah, for sure. Brenham Crouch, that was tough.
He's lucky he only got a broken arm.
Pretty cool deal, though. I mean, for one, be cool to see Dominic Scelzi run in that 5 car here in the California swing, so that should be interesting. He also says drink it to Troy Wagaman and Austin Reed and Justin Whittle. Agreed. Daniel Lee, drink it to a great weekend for all and a great show tonight. Thank you. Me blowing up the chat feed, dump it to the IHRA and the 5-alarm dumpster fire that has broken out with that mess. Especially with Maple Grove's future uncertainty. Oh, I dropped my earbud.
Yeah, I just read today they're shutting it down for the season. Then I read something else that the previous owners might come back and buy it or something. I don't know. But this guy, this IHRA guy has absolutely fucked them so hard. Basically buying all this stuff up with money he doesn't have. Like,
did the same thing here with Rockingham. Rockingham just got NASCAR back, and you thought, oh, maybe they were on the way to get a cup date or something. Now they're not going to have anything because they ran it into, just poor management. All right, Mandy. Drink it. Troy Wagaman, Austin Reed, Justin Whittle wins. Chase Dietz and Casey Kane have a good Knoxville. Larson Watch and the racing community making the play #1 track worldwide. Sammy Swindell's last ride at Knoxville. He went for a ride, that's for sure. But that was cool what they did with his old car. Again, good times with everyone and the juice at Selinsgrove. Jump at the Brenham Crouch. Ryan Tim's crew member faceplant. Lance DeWeese tire blowing Friday. Casey Kane not winning. Knoxville Nationals. Brett Perigo not winning at Selinsgrove. Amanda, drink it to Justin Whittle to his win. Also drink it to my Tanner Holmes making an A-main in Knoxville. He was super impressive. And passing cars into B-main and the A-main. Dump it to the smash cars in the past week and injured drivers that are healing at this time. Thank you. Troy Savage. Drink it to Troy winning and dump it to the bad wrecks all weekend. Super cool show, guys. Really enjoy listening along. Thank you, Troy.
Thanks, Troy. Appreciate you, man. Hopefully everything's
good over there.
Hopefully everything's good on the tiny island of New Zealand. Hopefully it's all good. Troy lives beside a nipple. Did you know that?
Yes, I remember this conversation.
Did you see it? Yeah. It's like a giant nipple, and he's like, it's a mountain. I'm like, that's a volcano, brother. Look at that thing. That is a volcano. That is not a mountain. I mean, it looks like a mountain to your eye, but look at that map. That's a damn volcano at one point, or a huge nipple on an island, one or the other.
And one more.
But glad you're home, man. Hope things are going well for you, buddy.
Yeah, Troy, we'll have to try to, like we said, we'll keep Got to set up at some point here this year, get you on the show and talk about your trip here to the States. Tony says, drink it to Sammy. Tribute on Saturday in his comments when Wade asked if Sammy took a swing at Kinzer. No, I didn't want him to spill his beer. Top it to Signor because that's what she is. I don't know what that means, but yeah, she deleted her. Yeah, no comment. Nipple, it's a mountain. That's what Troy Savage says. Those were
you gotta look it up. The south part of New Zealand. I'm telling you, I'll go to like Google Earth or Google Maps and look this shit up and tell me. Hold on, you're not gonna be able to see it on the screen. New Zealand. And then when you go to New Zealand, zoom in. Wait, where the hell is it? There. The like New Zealand has the Auckland, which is the north part, so it's split, right? So the Auckland part, the northern part, and there's this little like on the western side, it kind of goes down in a curve, and then it juts out at the southern part of that.
Mount Taranaki.
Mount Taranaki. Zoom in and look at that thing.
Yeah, it's just a nipple.
It's
a nipple on a tit. Kind of
I was like
that way.
I was like, brother. I was like, that's not a mountain. That was a damn volcano at one point. It gets blurry. Anyway, that was funny. I had a good laugh with him on that. But yeah, no, we appreciate y'all being here. This is a long one tonight, but having a guest and a lot to talk about does that. There's a lot going on in sport. So again, like, follow, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Tune in for any amount of time. We appreciate everybody that was here for 5 minutes or the whole or hung in here the whole time. And everybody listens tomorrow throughout the week at work because they don't want to watch it live because they wanted to listen to this at work to ignore their shitty work. Been there. No, not now, but listen to podcasts throughout the day definitely can make the time go by. So we appreciate all of you after listeners as well.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks to Mike Heffner for joining us. A really, really fun interview. And again, thanks all you guys. Get to the track this weekend. Some good racing at Williams Grove and Port Royal coming up. And we look forward to